Week 14 getting ready to go. Temperature up in the high 70s. A little bit humid out there. Scattered showers. It has rained much of the weekend here in South Florida as Bruce Arians, first time as the Cardinals head coach, facing the Dolphins. As the Colts interim coach, he beat the Dolphins back in 2012. And there is 38-year-old Adam Gase, who in his first year has developed Ryan Tannehill, who will oppose Carson Palmer. We'll see Palmer first. The Cardinals won the toss and are receiving. Back in through the end zone. It is a touchback coming out to the 25-yard line. Carson Palmer leads the NFL with 42 pass attempts per game. And this offense, you touched on Rondé David Johnson, 15 touchdowns from the running back position, running and catching. And Larry Fitzgerald comes in with 88 catches, tied for the lead in the NFL.
They have to find a way today, Chris, to protect Carson Palmer. He has been hit so many times. He says he feels great, but when you watch the film, he is getting hit every single time he drops back the pass. Keep an eye on Dominic Kinsu and Cameron Wake on the left side of this defense. They got a good game ahead of them, I think.
And it is David Johnson who gets up across the 27-yard line on the first carry against that Miami defense that you just mentioned. Kiko Alonso, who leads the team in tackles, is out injured. And Cameron Wake, a lot healthier, having a career rebirth with 8.5 sacks this year.
Yeah, you got to focus on number 45 in your screen, Mike Hall. This guy is very athletic, but he is not Kiko Alonso. He was a dynamic player at middle linebacker. Mike Hall, watch him when he has to line up against 31 today.
And Johnson, a receiver, bottom of your screen. He has the football, slips through, and gets up to about the 33-yard line. It'll bring up third and short. You can see the sun peeking through, and we've had that much of the day. There is some rain forecasted for later in the day, but it should be a shower that moves through, and this field drains well. So feet conditions should not be an issue. They were for the Dolphins on the road last week in Baltimore. The footing looks good early. Third and 2. Open and for the first down, Darren Fells all the way up near the 45, and Dolphin fans are saying there goes the tight end again. That was the story last week when linebackers couldn't stay with the Baltimore Ravens in that area of the field.
Well, this is a situation on this linebacker crew for the Dolphins where they have to be more quarterback aware. They drop into their zones and they lose space. And last week when you watched that film, it was almost pitch and catch. It was too easy. And if Arizona takes a page out of Baltimore's playbook, you'll see a lot of those underneath passes today.
After a gain of 12, Johnson picks up about 3. Michael Thomas, the top special teams tackler for Miami, coming in to make the play on Johnson. And his numbers outstanding. Even Bruce Arians said if our record was better, he'd be at the top of the list for most valuable player this year with all those quarterbacks.
I don't think there's any question. When you talk about elite runners in the league, he's easily in that class in only his second year. And I think Le'Veon Bell has the combination of receiver, runner. This guy is just as good in my mind.
Palmer throws back to Fitzgerald, and he's knocked down short of midfield. It'll bring up third down. Larry Fitzgerald in his 13th season at age 33, and the streak of catches going all the way back to his rookie year in 2004.
I don't think he cares how he gets them, and a lot of them will be that nature, around or behind the line of scrimmage. He's such a big body, though, that he can usually make some positive yardage out of those type of plays, and Carson Palmer was very comfortable getting him the ball in those situations.
David Johnson as a receiver, empty backfield. Andre Ellington in for Palmer on third down. Tipped, and it's intercepted. Mike Hull has the pick for Miami. After the deflection, he returns it to midfield where the Dolphins will take over on the takeaway.
Well, Mike Hall, they say he's really instinctive as a football player, and his coverage takes him there, but give him credit for being ball aware. That's a tough catch for a guy nobody expects to be playing. Takeaway for the Dolphins.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Kiko Alonso out with the hamstring and thumb injury, and Mike Hull the start. His first career interception. Grew up a fan of Zach Thomas, another Dolphin linebacker who has the same size as Hull, but also made big plays like Hull just did.
Hey, 51's Mike! 51's Mike!
From the 48 of Miami, Tannehill completes inside the 40 for a first down to Jarvis Landry.
Well, you're going to have to keep an eye on this one all day today. Tyvon Branch, he's just the safety playing nickel for these guys. And when it's not third down, Patrick Peterson will not be following Jarvis Landry. It'll be this guy. And this matchup, I think, favors the Dolphins very heavily today.
His 76th catch of the year to lead the Dolphins. Jay Ajayi in at running back after a 14-yard pickup, and here comes a flag.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 93, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Little over-eager Calais Campbell, former University of Miami Hurricane, back as a Cardinal, and led the defense at a champ before the game. Now 1st and 5. Ajayi for the first down and then out of bounds. Ajayi closing in on 1,000 yards rushing this season. Offensive line continues to be shuffled. Mike Pouncey remains out with that hip injury, missing his 4th straight game.
And Steen had his own issues this week with injury, but they're getting better. Brendan Albert being back, Tunsil playing through some pain on that left side of this offensive line certainly helps them today.
After a 6-yard pickup, first down Dolphins. Ajayi spinning with nowhere to go and is thrown back by that Arizona defense that's ranked 2nd in the NFL overall statistically. Tyrann Mathieu missing his 4th straight game. You've already talked about the secondary, and of course Patrick Peterson from Pompano Beach. He grew up a Dolphin fan. His first game back, excited to be playing here with family and friends watching closely.
Yeah, statistically this Arizona defense I think is really good. It jumps out on you on paper what they are statistically, but they have to show it during games. I think they have the potential to be dominant, and it just doesn't show week in and week out. I think this Miami offense has to be aggressive against this unit. They're going to try to win here today.
After a loss of 1, Tannehill is aggressively throwing for the end zone. Kenny Stills, and it's a touchdown, Dolphins. How's that for aggressive?
I think they knew they had a matchup they liked on Marcus Cooper, the corner for the Arizona Cardinals. And Kenny Stills is a big threat, deep guy. And here's the ISO. It's just a little post route. Zig in, zig out, and then hits that 3rd step, and great throw by Ryan Tannehill on his play action, draws up the underneath coverage. But we talked about aggression. This is it. Last week they said they played too cautious. Well, they went for the end zone early in this drive and get a quick score to get out to a quick lead on Arizona.
Andrew Franks for the extra point. The Dolphins strike first. Ryan Tannehill, his 104th career touchdown pass, recently joining Dan Marino and Bob Greasy as the only quarterbacks in Dolphin history to throw 100-plus.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. Strike gold and you can win Super Bowl tickets for life.
Cardinal defense reeling after a takeaway from Miami on the Carson Palmer interception. Kenny Stills' 6th touchdown catch this year. All have been 24 yards or longer. And the Dolphins, who have been outscored in the opening quarter more than any team this year, strike first at home in this pivotal game for playoff possibilities. 7-0 as Franks kicks off. Cardinals will take over for the 2nd time on offense, sailing through and back out to the 25-yard line. Ryan Tannehill to Kenny Stills, and the Dolphins lead it early, 7-0.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can. By the $10 any pizza carryout deal only at Pizza Hut. And by Samsung Pay. Turn your phone into your wallet.
Rainbow here in South Florida, those dark clouds, but both of these teams looking for a silver lining. They have to win their games and hope for some help. Regular season running out. Miami leads early, second possession for Carson Palmer as David Johnson carries and gets across the 30. The last two games, the Cardinals had scored touchdowns on their very first possession, something they didn't do in the previous 10, but they had a first down and then the turnover, and then the Dolphins struck.
Lots of issues really on this offense, Chris. Starting games fast. You mentioned last two games they got off to a fast start, but most games you watch, it's like this. They get a couple of good drives going and then all of a sudden they peter out. And that's why they've struggled somewhat this season winning football games, is they just haven't been as efficient as they were last season.
David Johnson again, bottom of your screen as a receiver, and coming across, he's got it for a first down. And they don't rest him at all because, as his head coach said, he's a young guy. He'll celebrate his 25th birthday. He wants to play every down, and they leave him in. Well,
this guy can do a lot of different things. Lines up. He's clearly a wide receiver here, not motioning out of the backfield. He's on a corner. It's on Byron Maxwell, and it does not matter. Carson Palmer has utmost trust in this guy as a receiver, and he will not be shy of throwing to him no matter who is covering the guy.
Pickup of 14. David Johnson, 28 touchdowns in 28 career games. This is 29th game in the NFL. And they hand it on a receiver running around. J.J. Nelson is loose. And J.J. Nelson will tie this game, pending the extra point. It was a fake inside to Johnson. And Nelson, the speedy second-year receiver, took it and ran through the Dolphin defense.
Well, everybody has this play in their arsenal. You just don't expect it to gash. Good blocking on the other side of the formation, though. And then it's just J.J. Nelson being diminutive but very, very fast. Breaks down that angle of Bakari Rambo and just gashes them to the end zone. That's a fast start for Arizona. They wanted it on this first drive. Well, they got it on the second one.
A run of 56 yards. Nelson, who has 3 receiving touchdowns, dashes in with the extra point from Chandler Catanzaro. High snap, and it's not good. They have had special teams problems from field goals to punters, and it is not a tie game. High snap, off the mark. J.J. Nelson, his 6th career rushing touchdown, but Miami still leads. Aaron Brewer with the high snap. The holder, also the punter, Drew Butler, tried to get it down, and then Chandler Catanzaro missed the extra point. And the look from the kicker, and Butler's had problems punting the ball. They brought in some punters this week, but one of the ones that they liked was not a holder, had not held for kicks before. That's the reason he was signed to the practice squad, maybe not active today.
Yeah, it's hard to put that one on the punter, on Drew Butler. Snap was not good. You saw that little hesitation in Catanzaro going up to the ball. Clearly the misfire was because of that.
Sails through the end zone over the head of Jakeem Grant. Kenyon Drake also watching. Dolphin offense comes out to the 25-yard line. Last time they had the takeaway from Arizona off the interception. Tannehill went right to the air and threw the touchdown to Kenny Stills. J.J. Nelson touchdown run on a receiver run, and that's where we are with that missed extra point. It's funny, Adam Gase, who is the first-year head coach, he almost takes it personally when Ryan Tannehill, his quarterback, does not do well. They've worked closely together, and he wanted his quarterback to come out firing and show people, hey, ease up a little bit here.
You know what I like about Adam Gase, too, Chris, is that he is not scared to take some of the responsibility, play calling or whatnot, what goes wrong with this team at times.
Throwing again. Ajayi to the 40 and a first down. Yeah, he said they were too cautious last week in Baltimore. We have not seen that from this offense in the opening quarter.
Well, they certainly have the talent and the quarterback. You know, he can make all the throws, and I like the way he reads defenses. Look at his go through his progression here. Knows that he can come back to his check down. Jay Ajayi, who's going to break at least one tackle. I don't know if I've seen one guy take that guy down all season. So as many touches as you can get to this guy, the better for the Miami Dolphins.
Hey, green 7. Green 7. Hut. Hey, Mike's Mike. 20. Omaha, touch.
After a pick at the 15, Ajayi will lose yardage. The Cardinals in to knock him down. Heard an Omaha from Ryan Tannehill.
One of the more dynamic middle linebackers, and he's a little dude. Dane Buchanan right here. Watch him fire his gun right here through this gap and make a play in the backfield. See Steen, 65, trying to get to the second level to block him, but he's more of a safety than a linebacker, but he's quick and he's physical, and he has great disruptive skills on this defense.
Dale Buchanan leading the Cardinals in tackles. In only his third season, former first-rounder from Washington State.
You're good. 5-1. Touch. 180. Touch.
Tannehill into traffic for Landry. Nothing there. It'll be 3rd and 13.
Well, this is a good matchup, right? The more we see this, the better. I like seeing Patrick Peterson on their best guy, and you know, throw here at your own risk. Now, Patrick is one of the good ones at the line of scrimmage. He's very patient because he knows he has the speed to run with you. So he's in short and breaking routes. He is all over him.
Already his 6th year. Patrick Peterson said this is the best he's felt physically at this point in a season in his career. For Tannehill, and that looks like Marcus Cooper. Did he have it, or did Stills have it? Cooper stepped in front, but then Stills made a terrific move to go for the football, and it's the Cardinals with the interception.
Well, I think Marcus Cooper had it first, and Ryan Tannehill was late with this throw, but I will not discredit the play that Marcus Cooper made on this football now, because it was a tie goes to the runner type thing, but he was definitely the aggressor on this. And watch this coverage with the wet field. I think he knows he doesn't have to get out of his pedal. He just sits down on it, and yes, that's an interception. Anything Kenny Stills is doing on that ball is after it's been intercepted by Marcus Cooper.
All turnovers are going to be confirmed, reviewed. And it's funny because you would say dual possession usually goes to the offensive player, but in this case, Cooper got there first. So he was the receiver who had it first, the dual possession. At least that's the way it looked.
And I think in that picture right there, you can see this.
On the field is an interception by Arizona. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Miami, number 10. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You can see the rain falling that was in the forecast on our referee Jerome Boger. He's talking about Kenny Stills and the penalty. And there it is. Knocking the ball out of the hands of the Cardinals. So the booth automatically reviews because it was ruled an interception in Cardinals football. If they confirm it, they'll tack on the penalty and the Cardinals will be in good shape. Ruled an interception on the field.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands. It's Arizona's ball, first down. We now will enforce a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Arizona 1st and 10 on the 33-yard line.
And Mike Pereira, our rules analyst on Fox, looking on. Mike, it's who gets it first, not who has it last, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. This wasn't reviewable until 2 years ago. In order to have a simultaneous catch, both players must get possession of the ball at the exact same time. If one gets possession first, then he gets the ball. This one's as close as I've seen, which is why they came out and said stands, but I certainly agree with that decision.
All right, thank you, Mike. Watching all the games for us on the NFL on Fox to bring us closer to an understanding of the rules. David Johnson carries the reins. The ball's out, and it's still loose, and the Dolphins are on it. And the rain continuing to fall heavily now. Spencer pacing her fumble recovery of the David Johnson run.
And it was Cameron Wake on the end of the line of scrimmage here that just gets a hand in here and just knocks it out. And this ball I mean, look at it. You can see how slick it looks on the ground there when David Johnson, and he is not a fumbler. This guy is really good with ball security, but it's very slick, and this rain is dumping on this field right now. Can't excuse it, but it's another takeaway for the Miami Dolphins.
Terrific pictures as the rain continues to fall. And from our blimp coverage, you can see rain was in the forecast about 40 to 50%, but it should be moving through the area.
I don't know if I'd want to be in that blimp looking at that picture. Good gracious.
Already 3 turnovers in this game. A 7-6 game with over 6 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Dolphins take over. Ajayi straight ahead across the 45-yard line.
It's going to be even more importance emphasized on the run game and when this weather turns like this. I've been in numerous games, having played in Florida, where it opens up like this, and all of a sudden you don't want your quarterback having to try to deliver important passes down the field. So keep an eye, see how many times Jay Ajayi gets this football on this run, on this drive. I'm sorry.
For David Johnson, that was only his second fumble lost this year. You can hear the rain hitting the field and the football. 2nd and 1. Ajayi with the first down. And he breaks tackles yards after contact as well as anybody in the league, thus the 5-yard plus average. Let's get a game break. Say hi to Carissa Thompson. Hey, Carissa.
Hi, Chris. So it's raining in Miami, snowing in Buffalo. Steelers right behind the Dolphins in the wild card race. This helps. Le'Veon Bell doing work. 3-yard run has Pittsburgh up 7-0. Chris, Rondé, and Holly.
All right, thank you. And December, a time of year when the weather certainly plays a factor. You wouldn't think as much a factor here in Miami, but the rain coming down.
False start. Offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Deion Sims said, I know that was me, so it'll back him up and be 1st and 15.
A little sloppy.
Carson Palmer told us when we asked about this kind of weather, he said, remember, I played in Cincinnati in that AFC North where you play in Pittsburgh and Cleveland, so this kind of weather doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but it's sloppy. You can just see. I mean, look how hard this came out of nowhere, unless you were outside the stadium and saw it, but it's going to be a factor, I think, going forward.
Ajayi trying to find a block and fights just to get back to the 46-yard line. Marcus Golden making the play. That quick turnaround, Marcus Cooper with his 4th interception, and then Paysinger the fumble recovery, and that's how the Dolphins got the ball back, leading 7-6. After a loss of 1. Tannehill under pressure, throws on the run, Stills at the 45, held on, sliding down with the catch.
This is a really good play by Ryan Tannehill, and now you see him out of the pocket more than almost any quarterback in football, and he does a great job looking inside to deliver these footballs. A lot of quarterbacks look to the sideline and make the easy throw with their momentum, but he has such a great arm. He could throw across his body and throw it accurately. You saw an example of it right there.
3rd down and 9. Tannehill has started all 77 possible games since his rookie season of 2012. Stills in motion. Floats one. And catch cannot be made by Ajayi. He might have scored, and he hauled that in on the fly.
Just a little too much weight on this pass. He had a great natural pick on Tony Jefferson, who was trying to cover Jay Ajayi, and if just a little bit off of that, that would have been a walk-in touchdown for the Dolphins.
Matt Darr will come out to line up for the punt. 2nd year from Tennessee. Has not had a punt blocked in the NFL. And Patrick Peterson is back at the 10-yard line. Cardinals going with the sure-handed guy. With the rain coming down and a slick football. Peterson lets it go, and it's down inside the 10. Gray on the special teams play. Cardinals escape the lost football. Their defense keeps Miami from advancing here in the opening quarter. Let's quickly head down to the field. Say hi to Holly Saunders on the field conditions. Holly?
Hey, Chris, I think you might have cursed us mentioning that rainbow earlier, but we've received over an inch of rain in the past 24 hours here in Miami, and you can see it continues to come down. I'm getting my third shower of the day down here, but you mentioned this field, it drains very, very effectively. So effectively, grounds crews actually don't even cover it. But again, this field has received a lot of moisture. I talked to some of the field goal kickers before the game. They said that their footing is a little bit off because the ground, they call it, they say it's a little loose, guys. It's hard to get their footing. Keep an eye on that.
All right, thank you. As Johnson carries, so a cleat adjustment may be necessary. Yeah, this grass is genetically enhanced.
Yeah, this past pollen grass you see on a lot of golf courses around this area. It takes a lot of rain, takes it well, but again, it's just been laid down a couple of weeks ago, and you know, there's some seams in it too, and I think that was the worry with some of the coaches that I talked to on the field there. And talking to Amos, the special teams coach for the Cardinals, he said some of the kickers and some of the players are going to put in their long spikes because of this uncertainty of the surface.
A 6-yard pickup on first down by Johnson. Falling forward, and it'll bring a third down. Michael Thomas was there. And it certainly will change the game plan a little. Remember, the Dolphins were out in Southern California when they played in Los Angeles against the Rams, trailed the entire game with a wet football and those kinds of conditions, and rallied to win that game, part of their 6-game win streak before the loss on the road at Baltimore. Throw, and that's intercepted. Bakari Rambo down to the 10 of Arizona.
Little pressure in Carson Palmer's face was the cause of this high throw. You'll see the wrap game right here. Jason Jones, who's just coming back from a suspension, but the ball drifts on him, and really a good play by Bakari Rambo, stepping in front of Larry Fitzgerald. Poorly thrown football, wet football, and a third takeaway for this Miami Dolphins defense.
And a tough hit on Carson Palmer. You addressed that. He will be 37 years old later this month. Rambo with his first interception of the season. Palmer's thrown 2 already in this game. That's 13 now for the year. And the Dolphins, with a 1-point lead, have a first and goal from the 10 of the Cardinals. Kenyon Drake is in at running back, the rookie from Alabama. And he gets the football. And Drake fighting hard to get down around the 2-yard line.
A tough run by Kenyon Drake there. He comes into the football game, and he immediately puts his influence on this, and he gets to the second level of the Cardinals defense here. He puts his shoulder down trying to get to the end zone. And Tony Jefferson's a good player, so is Dayon Buchanan. He goes right through those guys, gets down to the 2.
Interesting that the play caller, head coach Adam Gase, would bring in the rookie with the rain has let up a little bit, a wet football, but now Damian Williams and Jay Ajayi are both in at running back. Ball's loose again, being kicked around inside the 2-yard line. The center exchange to Tannehill never worked.
And this ball fumbled around a lot on the field. It was hard for me to even identify who got it back, and it looks like Jay Ajayi came up without the football, and I think he's the only Dolphin that was in that pile.
And it's Cardinals football. Wow is right. 4 turnovers already.
The center quarterback exchange has got to be fundamental, and that ball got to Ryan Tannehill's hands, and you see what Jay Ajayi is saying, that he was on top of the football, and he's claiming that he had possession before all those Cardinals came in there and tried to rip it away. And that's exactly the reaction you're getting from the crowd here, because they saw that same look on these 4 jumbotrons in this stadium.
And if this is confirmed, and again, when it's ruled a turnover, it'll be the 5th turnover.
It's under review.
In the opening quarter. That's the most turnovers, assuming this is confirmed as the 5th. The most turnovers in the first quarter of any game this season. The rain has a lot to do with it. A couple interceptions by Carson Palmer. Tannehill intercepted, and then a loose football. David Johnson had a fumble. And now this fumble that Tannehill never quite got his hands on.
Well, clearly the wet ball is affecting everything.
Now, don't teams practice when they think there might be rain? You practice with the wet football.
Yeah, for sure. And there's no way they didn't, especially Miami down here, anticipate this weather. The way it's been the past 2 days, it's been very un-Miami-like. I think people came here expecting, sunshine, but I think they're going to look at this and say, does he have the ball enough? Jay Ajayi, 23 on your screen right there. Does he have it long enough to say he has possession? And you see there's 5-6 Cardinals getting there ripping at it, and they come away with it. And it's the question. Maybe Mike Pereira can answer this for me, if there's a time element to this possession before the Cardinals get it from Jay Ajayi in.
Our rules analyst Mike Pereira joining us again, and often has said they usually stay with the call on the field unless there's something real clear, correct, Mike, that would overturn that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that wasn't reviewable until about 2 years ago, recovery of a loose ball. So you have to see, if you're going to change the call on the field, you have to see a clear recovery before it goes into the pile. Really close here, but as Rondé said, the ball's getting punched and punched out, and then you lose sight of it. So, again, the ruling on the field was that it was a recovery by the defense, and while you see the ball in his hand here, does it get punched out right away? This is the decision that New York and Dean Blandino and the replay official are going to have to make. But again, I like the fact that who recovers the ball is now reviewable.
Thank you, Mike. Rodney Gunter tearing the ball away from Ajayi in the pile.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands as called. Fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Arizona.
Dolphin fans do not like that.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. And it's tough when you get in those piles, and we can barely see. We have how many monitors we have up there? We have 6 monitors up here, and we can barely see with all the cameras that we have what's going on under there. So even though they went to replay, I didn't think that there was any chance that they would overturn the call that was made on the football field.
We have 22 seconds left. What do you think the chances are we'll have another turnover?
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. This game got really sloppy really quickly. But the Arizona Cardinals are in a backed-up situation. If you're Miami right now, you've got some fire boiling in your blood. You've got 2 turnovers already, and 3 turnovers on defense, and nothing to show for it. So, see if they come and try to get after Arizona here.
David Johnson, maybe a yard as the clock runs. An adventurous opening quarter with a shift in the weather and the way the teams are playing. 5 turnovers total. A touchdown pass from Tannehill to Stills and a touchdown run from J.J. Nelson. Miami protecting a 7-6 lead. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. From Miami Gardens, Rondé Barber, Holly Saunders down on the field. Chris Myers, hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. And a crazy opening quarter in terms of turnovers. Yes, Minter did get credit for the recovery of the Ryan Tannehill fumble, his 3rd lost fumble this year. Cardinals backed up on 2nd down 8. And the rain has subsided for the moment. Pollard from his own end zone, off the hands of his tight end Jermaine Gresham. And a possible interception there, missed by Miami, but a catch that should have been made. Again, the wet football a factor.
Well, you blame Carson Palmer. You got to blame his offensive line. He is getting just hounded. Whoever it is, somebody is in his face on almost every single throw, and that was another potential turnover opportunity for the Dolphins.
There's Earl Watford, who is starting back at right guard position. His head coach said, you want to get paid, you get up there and block somebody. This is your chance.
Not just him, it's everybody. But the Cardinals right here, they got to get out of this end zone. They have a punter that struggled all year long, and they're on the 2-yard line. I don't think anybody on that team thinks they can survive it down here.
David Johnson caught from behind as he was waiting for a block inside the 5 by Cameron Wake, and it will be 4th down.
A lot of energy out of this Dolphins defense today. I've been impressed, and we knew that it was going to matter with the guys up front.
They're first.
Cameron Wake and Dominican Sue and the like, those guys have really had a good start to this football game.
Well, for two teams that want to play meaningful football in December that keeps them in the playoff conversation, yeah, we can blame the weather, but what else for the 5 takeaways? Is that more great defense or sloppy offense?
I think sloppy offense. You know, the snap fumble is inexcusable, especially when you're on the cusp of scoring a touchdown there. But Carson Palmer has not protected the football well at all this year. You go back to last year when he was an MVP candidate, and he was so good with the football. This year, whether it's the offensive line or whether it's whatever is going on, the receivers with drops, they have not been able to get the same type of production out of their quarterback, and they are struggling again here today.
So there was a timeout, Arizona, as Drew Butler will be watching, and that was a no play on 3rd down. So now Jason Jones tipping the Carson Palmer pass, and we will see the Arizona punter.
Jason Jones right there, 98, and this one's going to get in the hands of David Johnson, and watch out, but another fine defensive play by the front of this Miami defense.
Jarvis Landry back. Drew Butler, as a flag flies the minute he booms this kick, and it's a good kick. Back inside the 40 of Miami. Across midfield. And what a return on a kick that sent him way back inside his 40-yard line. Landry, pending the flag, we'll see, would be in Arizona territory. And just for clarification, that previous timeout by Arizona, there was not a play. That's why we had that 3rd down pass. Seemed like an extra play in there, forcing the punt after it was incomplete.
Illegal motion. Kicking team. Number 10 and 28 were in motion, did not get set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty from the end of the play. Miami keeps the ball. 1st down. Timeout.
A 62-yard punt and a 17-yard return, and they'll tack on the 5 yards, and the Dolphins will be set up nicely.
Lots of action here, and Tony Jefferson runs into his punter, but look at this athletic play by Jarvis Landry. Sets them up past the 50.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Citizen Echo Drive watches, powered by Light.
Dolphins set up when you tack on the penalty at the 43-yard line of Arizona. We've seen a little bit of everything already from Tannehill. A touchdown pass, an interception, a lost fumble. Damian Williams in as a receiver on 1st down. And from the pocket, he goes down. Corey Peters with the sack. And there's a flag down in the secondary.
While the quarterback was in the pocket. Holding. Defense, number 41. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Marcus Cooper, the call. He had the interception earlier.
Watch that matchup at the top of the screen right here. And it's Kenny Stills, and good action at the line of scrimmage, and they're calling that pass interference. I think Kenny Stills went to the ground on his own. It's a ridiculous penalty, and Corey Peters doesn't get his sack because of it. That is just over-legislating the football game. You do not need to. That is ridiculous.
And what a swing from a sack and loss of yardage to a 1st down run from Ajayi, who's into the 25-yard line of the Cardinals.
We know what this guy's going to do when he gets the football. I don't know if I've seen it. I said it earlier. One guy tackled this guy all year. Gets in a perfect situation with Chandler Jones to make the tackle, but runs right through that, gets to the 2nd level, picks up positive yardage for the Dolphins.
He had 111 yards week 9 against the Jets, but has gone 4 games without 100 during that time. Closing in on 1,000 for the season. After a 13-yard run, Jarvis Landry with the catch. And out of bounds with another Dolphin first down.
Good picks and bad picks in the NFL, right? This one is within that line, that 1 yard line that you have to get this, and see 27 there get knocked off by Devontae Parker and opens up lots of room for Jarvis Landry.
Spotted at the 13-yard line. Damian Williams, top of your screen, empty backfield. Running back / receiver. Tannehill on the move. Will keep. Out of bounds. Spotted inside the 7-yard line.
That was a good job by this Cardinals defense. They dropped off in the zone. They've been playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. You had Devontae Parker there at the top of your screen matched up on a linebacker, but Ryan Tannehill, because he's so athletic, such a good runner, pulls it down, makes the right decision, protecting the football, and picks up positive yardage on first down.
After a 7-yard gain, he's the second leading rusher on this team, averaging over 4 yards a carry. Here comes Ajayi spinning, and he's spun backward and knocked down. Josh Morrow making the play. It'll be 3rd and goal.
This is just good gap defense by the Arizona Cardinals. Watch all these guys go all in their same gap, and then it gives Mike Minter, your middle linebacker, able to come off his block and clean up this with Morrow too. Good team defense there by the Cardinals.
Three receivers bottom of the screen. Ajayi in the back. That's Sims, the tight end, now moving to the line. Pass thrown. Caught by Deion Sims, and that's a touchdown, Dolphins.
Oh, this is Devontae Parker doing his big tight end a favor.
Yeah, Cardinals were pointing afterwards to a certain area.
They can point all they want, but watch 14 right here. He's got that 1 yard. Watch him come back to 1 yard and pick off Tony Jefferson. Great play design by Adam Gase. Great execution by Jarvis Landry. Touchdown, Dolphins.
Andrew Franks to try the extra point. Catanzaro has missed one, the 56th missed extra point this season in the NFL. Franks has not missed a point after, and the Dolphins expand their lead 14-6 on the Deion Sims touchdown. Tuesday, the number 1 team, Villanova, up against longtime rival Temple. Big East Hoops tipping off on FS1 at 7 Eastern Tuesday night. Bruce Arians, former head football coach at Temple. I'm sure he'll be tuning in between watching film.
Between laying into his offensive line is what it's going to be between. They've on this drive, pay attention to this offensive line. They have been struggling since the opening series of this football game. If they don't start to shore up, as much as this team likes to throw the football, they're not going to have a chance to win this thing.
Frank's kick. Andre Ellington downs at 25-yard line. Well, we started the broadcast about what was at stake for both of these teams, who can't afford a loss given the playoff picture, and with the Dolphins holding the lead in this game. And the Patriots are watching this closely too. They play Monday night because a Dolphin loss and a Patriot win, and they clinch their 8th straight AFC East Division title. But Miami's alive in the wild card picture with an impressive 7-5 record at this point of the season.
Well, it's definitely close. I mean, they're always playing bridesmaid to New England, right? Until they falter, they don't have a chance to win the division. But with Pittsburgh and some of those other teams with some tough games down the road, it's this guy, Adam Gase, and this offense and the way they're playing on defense today. Don't be surprised if they're able to make a run, Chris.
Contrasting styles. Gase didn't want to talk about playoffs. Bruce Arians, his team said, hey, We know we have to win to make the playoffs. On first down, Palmer's throw. Catch made. Michael Floyd on the grab. Let's get a game break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, Robert Kelly's only started the last 5 games for Washington, but this undrafted rookie from Tulane has really made a difference. This tough 22-yard touchdown run gives them a lead late in the second quarter over the Eagles, 7-6. Chris, Rondé, and Holly.
Thanks, Kurt. Washington in the NFC East battling the Eagles. That's the picture. What a game Sunday night with the amazing Cowboys going up against the Giants. Giants the only team to beat Dallas this year. As the rain comes down, here comes a flag. It's one thing that has to be difficult, too, for players, the fact that it's off and on. 1 minute it is raining, next minute it isn't. And the slick football. Already had 5 turnovers in the opening quarter.
I'm not sure who this is on. I think there was encroachment on the defense, but the offensive line clearly moved when he was in there. I think they get protection. They don't know who it is.
Yeah, this does look like a town hall meeting.
I'm gonna reserve judgment. I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, you already called somebody, said somebody was over officious.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
The call on Ndamukong Suh. Ball spotted at the 33 of Arizona. Another wave of the rain hitting the field.
If you're wondering, encroachment causes Watford to move.
Now what?
Please reset the game clock to 11:02 and start on my ready.
I promise you there's a football game between all this officiating.
Well, appreciate the fans staying through the weather. This renovated stadium has some great areas where you can step back, grab something to eat or drink, and still enjoy the game.
Yeah, nice segue. I know you didn't want to talk about the official team.
I leave that up to you. Get Dean Blandino on speed dial, please, all right? Second and 2. Johnson hit hard at the 35-yard line, and Mike Hull was there to meet him. Hull had the early interception, but still Johnson got the first down. Just a quick recap if you tuned in after the first quarter. Hull the interception. This one was debated, but Cardinals did come away with the pick. Johnson the fumble. Rambo with an interception, and this one they've switched the recovery to Rodney Gunter. Palmer flag down in the secondary, pass incomplete. Flag down at the 47, 48-yard line.
Well, where they threw it, it's looking like illegal contact on Tony Lippett.
While the quarterback was still in the pocket. Illegal contact. Defense, number 36. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
At first bump, you got 5 yards. That's clean. That's not.
And Lippett, his 10th straight start today, has a couple of interceptions. The former receiver turned defensive back because Xavier Howard, who's back practicing, who has had the knee injury, missing another game for Vance Joseph's defense. First and 10 from the 41 of the Cardinals. Ball is loose. Another fumbled football, and the Dolphins have it.
Wow, come on. This is two teams trying to make the playoffs. Important game for the Cardinals on the road. And this is their fourth turnover of the day. And again, the mechanisms of the quarterback-center exchange are flawed here. It hits him right in the hands, and Carson Palmer just drops it. Very similar to what Ryan Tannehill did down on the goal line for the Dolphins.
This is the 12th fumble of the season for Carson Palmer. That's the most in the NFL. And it would be the fourth lost as Terrence Fede gets credit for the recovery. Looks like snow there, but that's just the sheet of rain falling.
You know, both of these teams came into this game with a +1 turnover differential. That's going to be drastically different at the end of this thing, the way this game is going. And again, it's pouring out there. The rain is dumping on these guys, and in between intermittent sunshine, but it is causing for a very, very messy football game today.
Carson Palmer was the one who said he had confidence this team could make a run and get help. Trailing by 8 and another turnover. And Adam Gase, who talked about not being cautious, you wonder with a 14-6 lead and now the football in this kind of weather, if they will dial it back just a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Go for the jugular.
Jay Ajayi knocked backward at the 44-yard line. What a hit. Ajayi is 6 feet and 230. He's all right.
Great penetration by Corey Peters up top, and the ball is out again. And Jay Ajayi, fortunate that thing bounced right back into his chest. I mean, you had asked me the question earlier if they've worked with wet footballs. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they haven't worked, because this is crazy how many balls are on the ground here. Just the normal exchanges between the quarterback and the center and the quarterback and the running back.
That guy's job became more important. After a loss of 4, Tannehill and Ajayi can't handle the pass. It'll be 3rd and 14. Need to get down inside the 30 for a first down. Ajayi has 25 yards rushing and 1 catch. David Johnson on the other side, 17 yards rushing, and he has a couple of catches. Ryan Tannehill, middle of the field, knocked away at the last moment, trying to go to Jarvis Landry. Tyvon Branch with the defensive play.
Well, good play by Tyvon Branch, but this is a result of this wet football, because this ball comes out on time, but it's just, look at it, it's wobbly, it doesn't have a lot of velocity, and it gives 27 there, Tyvon Branch, a chance to come in and close that distance and get that pass defensed.
Obviously, the density in the rain slows the ball down through these kinds of weather conditions.
Whoa, you were physics?
I wanted to be a weatherman along with a sports guy. Matt Darr, as Patrick Peterson watches it bounce and go into the end zone. So a break for Arizona on the touchback. How would you like to grip that? Have to hold on to it for your job.
Today's game is sponsored by Ram Trucks, America's longest-lasting pickups.
The blimp that was showing us these great pictures headed for safer conditions as the rain has come and gone. This Dolphin defense, which had allowed the most first quarter points in the NFL this year, allowing just 6 to Arizona and Bruce Arians, who trailed by 8 but half the football and a first down. Kerwin Williams is in with the Wildcat. And Kerwin Williams gets loose. A creative call from Bruce Arians.
Well, we've seen this out of their offense the past couple of weeks. You put it in posture, quarterback. 33, Kerwin Williams has been the guy. You give him the threat of handing the ball off to your stud running back 31, and he's got to make the decision. He's reading 98, the defensive end there. Probably should have given it to him, but you know what? He doesn't get very many opportunities to run with it. He keeps it, picks up some nice yardage.
A 20-yard pickup up to the 40. David Johnson back in behind Palmer. Johnson with nowhere to go.
I think we're going to see a lot of these tough type yardages today. This front now of the Miami Dolphins, I think is really, really good. You keep talking about Wake and Sue, but you add in Jordan Phillips and Earl Mitchell playing that other deep tackle, and you get Jason Jones back, who gives some size at that defensive end, a run-stopping type presence. It's going to be difficult for them to turn around and run through the tackles for Arizona.
Johnson, 12 straight games with 100 yards or more from scrimmage total yards. He's at 50 total at the moment. And at the bottom of your screen is a receiver. Pass is in a crowd, held on to by Jermaine Gresham, who's fighting but kept back from that first down.
Yeah, Jermaine Gresham took some unnecessary punishment there. That forward progress was stopped, and he's welcoming it right now.
And they're gonna give him the forward progress for the first down, moving the chains.
Now he deserves it after all these hits. How many white shirts hit him right here? 7 bodies, it looked like by my count, got a shot on 84, but doing the tough thing, picking up some yardage and getting the first down.
David Johnson slips through, dancing down around the 40-yard line. One of his better runs of the day, and the rain has let up a bit.
Finally got some room inside, and this is exactly the type of runner that David Johnson is. You give him some room, he gives you that little stutter hesitation. Sidestep with the lateral quickness that he possesses, and you know what this guy has really done since he's been in the league is developed into a downhill runner. In college, he wasn't a guy that got behind his pads, but now every time he runs with the football, he is finishing going forward.
His best run of the day, a pickup of 9. David Johnson trying to get the first down, and Dominican Sue threw him down.
Not many guys are going to do that to David Johnson, but he absolutely blows up this play from the get-go. Watching Dominican Sue run right through Earl Watford. Get out of my way. I'm going to make a play on this running back. And bam, stops him short of that line to gain. It's going to be 3rd and short for Arizona.
Did not give him the forward progress because he didn't have enough, and Dominican Sue chatting to the offensive line of the Cardinals. So it's 3rd and short. The pitch to David Johnson, who's got a room with a block, a first down, puts a move on that stutter step move, and he's down inside the 23 of Miami.
Great job pulling by your left tackle, DJ Humphries here. He's going to put himself in a position where he's got to get the key block on the outside. Watch 74. He's going to end up going outside here around Larry Fitzgerald, who's cracking down on the defensive end. Great job by Larry, but then you get the big offensive tackle out on the corner, frees up some space, and Larry Johnson doing what he do and getting the first down.
That's David Johnson is what you meant, of course, but you said Larry, but that's okay.
Sorry, David, you know what I mean.
But I know what you meant. He's picked up 19 yards and has the Cardinals rolling. End zone throw for Larry Fitzgerald, a little high and off the mark. Let's get another game break with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Chris. To Philly we go. The Redskins, just like the Dolphins, a 7th seed in their respective conference right there. This one doesn't help, though. Carson Wentz, 4-yard touchdown to Darren Sproles. Eagles up 13-7. Chris, Rondé, and Holly.
All right, thank you.
You know, this offense all of a sudden, Chris, finding a little rhythm, and I got to tell you, this has been a drop-back football team. Hit your fist, step Carson Palmer, find throws down the field. But what I've seen so far here, turn around, hand the ball, throw some quick game, and it's definitely helping this offense get going.
David Johnson gets going again down inside the 50, and it is a rhythm offense. Aggressive play caller in Bruce Arians, who has been famous for his line, no risk it, no biscuit. Meaning he'll go for it at any time from anywhere.
And it means he likes to push the ball down the field. But in conditions like this, and besides the fact that they've been struggling throwing the ball down the field anyways all year, these conditions dictate a more controlled passing game and a runner. And they have both of those. They have Larry Fitzgerald on the outside. They have a good tight end in Gresham. And, of course, you have David Johnson at running back, who is having a heck of a drive here.
9th-ranked offense in the NFL coming in on 3rd and 2. Palmer in trouble and goes down. Cameron Wake. And not a veteran move for Carson Palmer to hold that football, waiting for something to develop, but here comes the field goal unit.
Well, Cameron Wake gets in a one-on-one. Gets in a one-on-one with your tackle right here, Ulrich John, who was here in Miami, and he went back and studied their preseason film because he knows what he's like and said, I can get this move on him all day, and Carson Palmer had no chance to get that ball out.
Wake 9.5 sacks this year. He's second in Dolphin history in career sacks, up near 80. So a field goal try of 41 yards, already a missed extra point. Catanzaro hits the upright, and it's not good. Looked like the snap and hold were okay.
Snap, hold were perfect. Catanzaro has got to make this. And special teams problems continue to haunt Arizona.
If you're wondering how a Cardinal team that was in the NFC Championship game last year with all this talent does not have a winning record, special teams, missed extra points, missed field goals that are makeable, they add up. Jai to the 35-yard line. Under 3 minutes to play here.
Talked about it in the open, and it's disappointing. The team this talented can't win. Yeah, you expect them to be back where they were last year, at least to the playoffs, to give themselves a chance to. But man, I swear, the way that this special teams unit has played, you look at their special teams coordinator, Amos Jones, who's been with Bruce Arians a long time, and they got to be searching for answers, not only in the kicking game, but in the punting game and coverage units and everything.
Well, they're 1-4 on the road this year, and a bad throw that's behind the line of scrimmage, and it's a live football, and the Cardinals can't get to it as it goes out of bounds. Miami maintains possession.
Well, the record for turnovers in half this season is 7, and this should have been the 7th. Daniel Buchanan had a chance to get this, and hard to blame Ryan Tannehill here. This ball is wet. Watching him throw this, and
clearly behind
him. He had the guy out there in the flat 14, Jarvis Landry, but now sets up a third and forever.
A loss of 21 yards. It'll be second down now, but they're just fortunate make that as the third down, and 27 total with the 21-yard loss, but we are at the 2-minute warning at this point, and Miami is backed up. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. After the ball got away, loss of 21. And now 3rd and 27 from the 14. Arizona will have 2 timeouts. Miami has all 3 with 2 minutes to go before the half. And it's Ajayi with a big hole. Knocked down. Here comes a flag as he gets up across the 23-yard line. Flag at the 15.
Holding. Offense. Number 67. Half the distance to the goal. Replay. 3rd down.
First rounder from Mississippi, Laramie Tunsil, the rookie at left guard, called for the infraction, and Jerome Boger telling him about it. Let's see.
Here's Tunsil. Should be coming around on a pull, and I guess, yeah.
Well, they could have declined it, and it would have been 4th down. But maybe backing them up further, Arians figures, hey, we can go for, if we stop them here, a block punt, make it more difficult.
Backed up punch, you're usually guaranteed better field position, so I don't disagree with taking that penalty. It's going to be a screen or a draw anyways.
Ajayi gets another chance and goes down, so it works out well for the Cardinals as Calais Campbell makes the stop. And here comes the punting unit as the Cardinals use a timeout to preserve the clock. Arizona will have 1 remaining.
Calais Campbell's a beast of a man. Gets an assist there by his other defensive tackles, able to get over the top, but he chases him down. And guy coming back, University of Miami guy, he was a giant then too. He's been nothing but spectacular for the Arizona Cardinals since he was drafted there
in the second round back in 2008 by the Cardinals. He donated over $1.5 million to establish a scholarship for defensive linemen at the University of Miami. A terrific move, just like that was on the field. Patrick Peterson, as Dar stands in his own end zone. Peterson at midfield. Cardinals have not blocked a punt this year. The Saki football to Peterson with room to run. And he gets out of bounds. We showed you the AFC playoff picture and the Dolphins figuring in the mix. The Cardinals, if they can win out and get some help, other teams have to lose. And as Carson Palmer said, he thinks he'll get the help the way other teams are matched up. But he said, we're the underdog. Last year, people were coming after us because we won the division. We were on top. And he said he likes the underdog role.
Well, there's so much pressure on these guys because they made it to the NFC Championship game last year, lost kind of miserably to Carolina, but I expected these guys to be in an even better position. But I look at that playoff picture and see 3 or 4 teams that have to do a lot in the negative way for these guys to get there. But to begin with, they have to take advantage of this opportunity here in Miami and get a win, or I don't think they have any chance to make the playoffs.
Dan Marino with owner Stephen Russ of the Dolphins here overthrows Nelson, who has the touchdown as Palmer is knocked down. Nelson scored on a run of 56 yards.
Well, I know Bruce Arians doesn't like to give help and chip guys, but watch Cameron Wake at the top of your screen here again on Ulrich John. Just runs right through him. And Carson Palmer, I mean, this guy takes way too many shots. He's on the ground almost every single time he drops back to pass. And I just don't know how he's surviving under this type of pressure this year.
Larry Fitzgerald has 1 catch today. Came in tied for leading the league in that department. He changed his shoes, put on different cleats after the last series. On 2nd and 10. Palmer for Floyd. Coverage on each side of him, and it's 3rd down. Maxwell was over there. Myron Maxwell, who has played well last 4 games, he has 4 takeaways. His defensive coordinator saying it's not even close how much he's improved from early in the year to where he is now.
Definitely been a plus here of late for the Miami Dolphins. I was a little, nonplussed about how he was playing. Got a big contract and didn't get the results out of it, and he got benched and came back, and he's played well. You said the 4 takeaways. He's covering up Larry Fitzgerald right here. Keep an eye on this matchup at the top of your screen.
3rd and 10, pass through the hands of Johnson and almost intercepted. Tony Lippett, who once was a receiver, shows you why he's now a defensive back. Sorry, that was a nice way, or maybe it wasn't so nice to say he could have had a pick. Why do I care?
That was a shot, right? Just because you play DB doesn't mean you can't catch. Some of us were like that, not Tony Lippett.
It was a tough break because the ball was deflected. Why not have another turnover?
I feel like that was a shot. I feel like that was a shot at me, not Tony Lippett.
So
I got good hands, right?
Oh, okay. By the way, we have James Petralka, Rick Odioso, residents of Tampa here, working with us in South Florida. Buccaneers play later on Fox in the playoff picture against the Saints. So are they going to try? They have a timeout from Miami at this point. A long field goal is at least how the Cardinals are setting up.
Well, if you miss it, and they've struggled special teams, you miss it, you're giving the Miami Dolphins very favorable field position with 2 timeouts remaining here. I'd be shocked if they did.
No. Catanzaro did kick a 60-yard field goal at Buffalo. The 60-yarder is the longest in the NFL this year. But it looks like maybe they're going to reconsider here. No? Okay. Catanzaro, who missed from 41. Dolphins are going to drop Grant back in case they have a chance to return. This kick will be 56 yards. The punter's the holder. Earlier a bad snap cost him an extra point. Catanzaro missed one from inside of 45. It's up there. It's out there. And it's good there. From 56 yards.
Oh, that's big. Big by Bruce Arians, showing faith in this unit. The drive stalled out. It wasn't a pretty 3 plays on offense, but snap, hold, kick, perfect, drives it right through the goalpost, and they get to 9 points before the half.
Catanzaro, when he was at Clemson. He was in a couple of Orange Bowls in this stadium. One of them against Ohio State. He's had a mixed season. 4 field goals missed. Remember that 6-6 tie with Seattle? It was a crazy game that haunts them still in the standings. But getting points here, and now they trail by 5. Arizona will be kicking off also to start the second half. Dolphins likely to get the ball then. They'll get it here with 2 timeouts and 1:18 to play. Well, the rain has settled down, so have the turnovers. For 2 teams that are having to scrape and fight to hang in the playoff discussion. Fitzgerald, again, just 1 catch, and that was good for 1 yard. Touchback. Dolphins will take over with those 2 timeouts. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Broncos and Titans go at it in Nashville, and the Steelers and Bills battle it out in the snow, while the Colts look to give the Texans their 4th consecutive loss. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime. Looking good.
Water bottle challenge. Almost got it.
Oh! Bang! Oh, there you go.
That's what I'm talking
Too
about.
bad we're out of time.
No, we're
Sorry.
not. Y'all got that, America.
Just another job for Michael Strahan, right?
Stick to your day job, Michael. How many takes did it for them to get that right?
That's called analyst pong. Damian Williams is in from the 25-yard line. Dolphins with the lead on the football, and he bounces off 1 tackler, but there's a flag down, and Williams, here comes another flag as he gets all the way up to the 45, but yellow all over the place. Dolphins already guilty of 5 penalties that have been accepted against them. 3 for the Cardinals.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the offense. Holding, offense, number 14, that penalty is declined. Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Right tackle Jawan James right here, and you see it. Gets to the second level on Mentor. That move there takes him to the ground. That's the hold. There's another one down the field on Jarvis Landry, but we talked to Adam Gase the other day, and he was talking about Damian Williams, and you see some of his potential. These guys are exciting. Every time you give him the ball, something good happens. He hasn't had many touches today, but keep an eye on this kid. I like him. Not in the game now, though. Or he is in the game. I'm sorry, back still in the game.
He's got 5 touchdowns this year, 3 running, 2 receiving. They say he's the best blocking running back they have. On 1st and 15, he'll get a chance to run. And Marcus Golden with the tackle. Golden, the player that was drafted by Arizona. They wanted to draft Amir Abdul a couple of years ago. And they were on the phone with him, and the Lions beat him to it. So they settled after taking Golden in that round. Then in the next round, in the 3rd round, they drafted David Johnson.
Fortunate they didn't draft Amir Abdullah. They got 2 good players out of that draft. Marcus Golden's having a heck of a season.
He's got 7 sacks. Tannehill is slipping a tackle or 2 and running up across the 30. 26 seconds remain. See how close he got before he went out of bounds.
I think he's well short, 4 or 5 yards here of the line to gain for first down, but it was great coverage on the back end there, and you can tell that he was trying to protect the football there. He could have thrown a ball down the field, but he didn't. Now you get 3rd down and short, 26 seconds left. Let's see if Arizona decides to play man or if they try to play zone and keep this thing in front of them. Cardinals are known to do a lot of different things on defense here.
Yeah, excuse me, they blitz more than anybody in the league. Tannehill dumps it off short to Williams, who's knocked down right away. And it's 4th down. Buchanan zeroed in on him.
Watch Dale Buchanan find this football here, right in the middle of your screen. I mean, I talked earlier in the game just how active he is, and a lot of times you see a littler guy, he just keeps his eye on the quarterback, knows his responsibility is 26, comes up, makes a nice tackle for balls.
Cardinals used their last timeout for the half. And Patrick Peterson will go back to receive the punt. Maybe they'll put a block on with 19 seconds. Maybe they'll get the ball and try a Hail Mary. A 56-yard field goal, the last scoring we had by Chandler Catanzaro, and a brazen call from Bruce Arians after his kicker missed earlier from 41. The view that Matt Carr has. Flag down. Peterson from the 20 will head out of bounds. We'll check the penalty.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 31. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
A special teams penalty on the Cardinals. I mentioned their road record this year, Rondé, 1-4. Defense, statistically overall, they're the number 2 defense coming into this weekend, but they've allowed more than 30 points per game on the road, and when they're at home, they allow just 14 points.
It's inexplicable. I don't understand it. And, sometimes they've played a lot of games on the East Coast with Atlanta and Buffalo, and maybe they don't travel well. And it's very dichotomous to the way they played last year, right? They had that 7-1 record. It was a big reason they made it as far as they did.
When they were on the road. They flew in Friday here in South Florida, trailing by 5 at the half. Let's head to Los Angeles for the Visa Halftime Report. Cardinals getting ready to kick off to start the second half. Dolphins with a 14-9 lead. Today's first half moments brought to you by Head & Shoulders, and the most turnovers combined for 2 teams this season, a total of 6 turnovers, 4 by the Cardinals. It wasn't raining at the start of the game, but it's rained off and on throughout. Fumbles, interceptions, and loose football. Dolphins have been able to handle it better than the Cardinals, and that's why they have the lead as Ryan Tannehill throwing a couple of touchdown passes, and that's today's first half moments brought to you by Head & Shoulders. A good day to use Head & Shoulders if your hair gets all messed up with the humidity.
For you.
And the rain. Oh, yeah, that's right. But you can still use Head & Shoulders for other things. All right, so this is the worst for Carson Palmer, 45 yards in the first half, 2 interceptions. The worst performance by him in the first half as a Cardinal. Can he turn it around?
Oh, I'd love to blame him, but you got to blame that offensive line. But yes, I do think he can turn this around. Find some more of those quick, short throws that were successful last week against these Dolphins. And as you look at Miami, he came into this game, and we heard them talking this week about wanting to be playing their best football in December. Well, anybody expecting that is being rewarded with one of the ugliest games I've ever seen. Let's see if that turns itself around here in the second half, with both of these teams trying to make a final push in the last month for the playoffs.
Catanzaro, who missed from 41 but made from 56 in the field goal department, drives this to the 1-yard line, and Kenyon Drake, who has a kickoff return for a touchdown this year, will get knocked down as he gets across the 20-yard line. Let's head down to the field, and Holly Saunders.
Thank you, Chris. Had a chance to talk to Coach Arians coming out of halftime, and he was hot. I asked him what changes they're going to make. Both teams obviously struggled in the rain the first half. He said, catch the darn ball. I said, how do you do that when the ball is so wet? He said, wear your gloves or take them off. Gosh darn it. So I'm giving you the toned-down version, obviously, but he is very hot. He also said we have to get Larry Fitzgerald, obviously, more involved. Got to get the ball to him more on first downs, guys.
Thank you, Holly. And one catch for Fitzgerald. He was targeted on a touchdown that Carson Palmer missed on. Meanwhile, Ryan Tannehill has lost a fumble, suffered an interception, but a couple of touchdowns, has Miami leading. Missed extra point earlier by Arizona. Jay Ajayi knocked down. Dale Buchanan's been all over the place.
Man, this guy is flying around today now. Dale Buchanan. I talked earlier in the game about not one guy getting this guy down. That is a hit. That is a big man hit on a tough runner. And You talk looking for a guy to set the tone for the second half of this football game. Started on the first play for Arizona.
Ajayi came in averaging over 5 yards a carry. He's averaging 2.5 today. Tannehill has it. And Swearinger from the secondary having to come in to get him. Again, the Cardinals playing without Tyrann Mathieu, missing his 4th straight game. May require shoulder surgery on this Cardinal defense. And here we go with Tannehill. You know, you listen to the local Joe Rose radio show, popular here in South Florida, and fans are back and forth on Tannehill, even though he has been the steady arm with this franchise. And after his worst game of the year last week on the road in Baltimore, trying to lead Miami here. 3rd down and 7. Tannehill's pass is caught by Jarvis Landry. Can he get the first down? Yes! And there goes Landry. Jarvis Landry inside the 5 of Arizona. He caught it, he broke a tackle, and ran for 70-plus yards.
What did Patrick Peterson tell us about Jarvis Landry? He loves the way he plays. He plays like he's 6'6", and on this play, there's not a guy to get it down. Tyvon Branch has got to get him to the ground. Tony Jefferson's got to get him to the ground, but he's such a tough runner.
Stills with a nice block.
And a good block down the field, yes, by Stills, and got to give Swearinger some credit for giving them some grass to defend there, but a big play for the Dolphins on offense to start this second half.
Tannehill to Ajayi, and that's a touchdown. There's a flag down as soon as Ajayi got into the end zone. He doesn't know it yet.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
The call on the center, Anthony Steen. We also have an injured Cardinal. It looks like Deion Buchanan.
Well, this is going to frustrate Adam Gase with this holding call on this touchdown run, but more importantly for the Cardinals is Deion Buchanan on the ground here. We'll take a look and see what's going on with his ankle there.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. And by the new Bacon King sandwich, only at Burger King.
Deion Buchanan injured, so Xavier Gooden, number 52, will come in for number 20.
And there's the ankle right there. You see Frosty Rucker, after he was impeded by Steen, falls on Deion Buchanan and sends him to the sideline.
Kenyon Drake knocked down at the 10-yard line. So the touchdown taken off the board because of the penalty, but the big play by Jarvis Landry of 71 yards. Rhonda, he's second in the NFL among receivers in yards after the catch. He picked up about 60 on this one.
Well, that was just him being strong and having more willpower, determination than Tyvon Branch, who was trying to get him on the ground. And, you know, you've got to wonder if Patrick Peterson will start paying more attention to Jarvis Landry. He's having a pretty big day here.
That was a career long for Landry. That 71-yarder. Second and goal. Tannehill to Stills, who tries to put a move on, and a couple of Cardinals keep him out of the end zone. It'll be 3rd and goal. It was Swearinger and Cooper who didn't bite on the fake. And that's Cooper who's down.
I didn't see where he got hurt on this play. This Deion Buchanan walking back into the locker room. And we'll get a second here after this break and figure out what is wrong with Marcus Cooper down on the field.
We'll check on both injuries when we continue here from South Florida. There was no flag on this play.
You see Jarvis Landry come in late and hit Marcus Cooper in the back there. And he has a reputation of being that finish till the end of the whistle kind of player, even as an offensive guy, a wide receiver. Early in the year, he did it to Aaron Williams.
And later apologized.
And later apologized, yeah, but that's just his mentality. And as a defense now, you're Arizona. I mean, you got to be able to take that to heart. So they're able to do something with Jarvis Landry. He's in their slot right here on the goal line.
Justin Bethel comes in to replace the injured player. Tannehill for the end zone. Touchdown Miami. It's Damian Williams.
Offense does a lot of swap action out of the backfield. And this is a penalty, I think, on Miami post-touchdown.
After the scoring play, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting on the offense, number 14. This is the first unsportsmanlike penalty with regard to disqualification for this player. This foul will be enforced on the ensuing kickoff.
The call on Landry this time.
Well, here's the touchdown, and you'll see Damian Williams, little swap action, going to the flat, and this is a replacement for Dale Buchanan, number 52 there, Xavier Gooden. But Jarvis Landry, he's got to come to the sideline. His head coach has got to get in his head and say, calm down, dude. I know he's excited. He's a guy that plays with a lot of emotion, but this 15-yard penalty on sportsmanlike is something you just can't see. You could see him in the back of your screen there, number 14, taunting the guys for Arizona. And that's just going to hurt your football team.
Andrew Franks for the extra point to make it a 21-9 game. Ryan Tannehill with his third touchdown pass today. Adam Gase wanted to see how his team would rebound after that tough loss last week. We're seeing it.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon.
Okay. The penalty moments ago on Landry for the taunt after the touchdown, of which he was not involved in, and being counseled to cool it on the sideline because Miami kicking off from the 20. Cardinals, who trail 21-9, should get good field position. Britton Golden, who can fly, has it. Straight ahead, just short of the 30-yard line. Carson Palmer will get the football for the first time here in the second half. Coming up next, America's Game of the Week and a Cardinal loss with a Seattle win, and the Seahawks lock up the NFC West. But the Packers and Aaron Rodgers hoping for other ideas. They want to run the table and make that game against the Lions at the end of the year mean something for the playoffs. It's part 2 of our NFL on Fox doubleheader coming up after here. Also the Buccaneers and Saints. Some of you will see that game. Tampa Bay in the playoff picture with a record of 7-5. David Johnson, and gets up across the 35-yard line.
Well, it's time for Arizona to get a drive and answer these points here to start the second half. They've been such a sloppy football game up front for the Cardinals. Turn around, hand this ball off to David Johnson. Let him be the bell cow today because the field's sloppy. Carson Palmer is not having his best day, unassisted by his offensive line.
John Brown, who has been limited because of the sickle cell trait and hamstring problems, number 12, who's a game changer at receiver, is in on 2nd and 3. They're going to try and run, but nowhere for David Johnson to go.
You get a predictable running situation, and give Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator for Miami, credit. He brought a zone pressure and just stuffed this run in the backfield. Sets up a 3rd and long, or 3rd and 7, I should say, for the Arizona Cardinals. And this defense looking to get a fast start. It's got a perfect situation here.
DJ Humphries is out. He was the starting left tackle. John Wetzel's moved into his spot. Earl Watford at the right guard. Palmer hits Johnson. He splits a tackle but is brought down short of the first down. Let's check in for an injury update with Holly.
Yeah, Chris, 2 Cardinals headed to the locker room. Dayon Buchanan with an ankle injury and Marcus Cooper with a back injury. They are both questionable right now to return. Chris?
All right, thank you very much. And the frustration for Bruce Arians. Jarvis Landry back to receive the Drew Butler punt. Waits for the fair catch and has it around the 16-yard line. Dolphins march in for a touchdown to start the second half and have the football once again leading it home against the Cardinals.
You've seen them dominate the gridiron, but can the Barber brothers handle a cast iron?
I need you to do well today. All right. Handle your business.
It's athletes versus rock stars.
This is going to be a slaughter.
OMG.
MasterChef Celebrity Showdown, January 2nd on Fox.
Athletes and rock stars. You're both.
I'm not a rock star.
How'd you and your brother do? By the way, is that Gordon guy as rude?
He's actually nice.
Nice guy?
He taught me a thing or two.
Well, good. We look forward to the show and the competition. If you love cooking, high snap. Tannehill, creative as he runs across the 16-yard line.
Well, he saved this one, Chris. This ball is going over his head. Another poor delivery between the center and quarterback, but his athleticism does him a favor right there, and smartly gets down before he gets drilled by Mike Minter.
He's the second leading rusher for the Dolphins today with 20 yards on the ground. Ajayi only has 31. But 3 touchdown passes, an early strike to Stills. There's Mike Pouncey, who is out again, and a smile there, but there are some deep concerns about the long haul. He keeps saying he wants to play every week. Between the hip and seeing specialists, there's some long-range concerns. Pass is caught by Devontae Parker, who showed some toughs last week with the back problems. He toughed it out against Baltimore and got a hit here today with his first catch.
Well, Ryan Tannehill takes a shot here after the pass. Free blitzer. Nobody picks him up. Good job by him finding the open receiver and getting out of his hands before he's sacked.
Dayon Buchanan and Marcus Cooper remain out. They went to the locker room after injuries. Now 3rd and 7.
Hey, 5-1's Mike. 5-1's Mike. Wow.
Pressure coming. Tannehill's throw right on target. Stills with the first down, short of the 34-yard line.
Justin Bethel's in the game because Marcus Cooper is out. You'll see him covering Kenny Stills. He falls down. This field's a little slick. Good route, really, by Kenny Stills. Great delivery of the football. First down for Miami Dolphins.
Pick up a 14, spotted at the 33. When they needed it most, Tannehill delivered, closing in on 200 yards passing. Ajayi. And when we talk about fans or the acceptance of Ryan Tannehill now in his 5th season, first-round draft pick, a guy who didn't play a lot of quarterback in college. Look at the numbers and the names. That's up to date, including today's numbers.
Well, they need to accept that he is what he is. I mean, he puts up a lot of yardage. We've talked about this when we've had games in the past with Miami about why people doubt him. He's putting up the numbers. He needs help around him, and he's gotten that so far this year with Jay Ajayi. I think Adam Gase is a great quarterback help kind of guy, and he's definitely benefited from this season.
Ajayi fighting just short of the 40-yard line. And the clock running. Just over 6 minutes to play. A long drive, a big play to Landry. Set up the touchdown to start the second half. The Dolphins are chewing up the clock and protecting a 12-point lead.
Well, to me, Chris, they're playing like they're showing that urgency. They're showing that want to get to the playoffs despite some of the early setbacks that they had in this football game. They've been the better team here in the second half, I think, very clearly.
3rd down and 4. Blitz. Pass is caught. Right away, tackle made on Deion Sims by Tony Jefferson, and it's 4th down. It was a big league tackle there.
That was, and we've seen them with some tackling issues so far today, but Tony Jefferson now is having a great season at safety. He can cover tight ends, cover running backs, but that was a very important tackle on 3rd down to get them off the football field.
Patrick Peterson standing back at the 10. Matt Darr at his own 26-yard line. Dolphins milking the clock for all that they can before snapping it. It's a high kick, fair catch called for. Peterson has to grab it with coverage good. And inside their own 10, can the Cardinals get Larry Fitzgerald going? He has just one catch. Carson Palmer and Larry lead the offense in a moment. Cardinals backed up in their own end zone, starting inside their own 10. And the Dolphin defense has done an excellent job. No hangover from that road loss at Baltimore. The numbers disappointing for Carson Palmer so far. He's going to throw it. Nobody open. There's a flag down. Fitzgerald was being covered by Spencer Paysinger. But there's a couple of flags.
Holding, defense, number 42. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that's on Paysinger.
You'll just see him, Larry Fitzgerald, moving into your screen this way, and there's Paysinger. Carson Palmer out of the pocket, and he's looking for Larry Fitzgerald there. He grabs him. Easy flag for them to throw. But Larry Fitzgerald's been a non-factor. I mean, they're using him a lot in the running game today, trying to get David Johnson going, obviously with the rain, which is starting to come down again now. He just hasn't been the factor that we have seen, and he had a good matchup against Bobby McCain inside. It just hasn't materialized for Arizona today.
Palmer hadn't had a lot of time to get the ball out on first down. Pressure coming. The ball is out. Knocked out. It's a fumble and recovered by Arizona. Andre Branch forced the fumble.
Chris, you mentioned that DJ Humphries is out of the game. This is John Wetzel moving out to left tackle. He played right guard a couple of weeks ago for this team, but just got blown by, and really good awareness by him once he gave up the sack to get on this football, because this would have been the 7th turnover of the game. And Arizona, this offense, for whatever, over and over again, continues to fail itself on the offensive line.
Wetzel did recover the fumble. Loss of 5. Rain coming down again. Palmer has to get rid of it. There's flags all over the place. Downfield.
Before the snap, delay of game, offense, number 3. After distance to the goal, still second down.
Well, this guy's got to be frustrated with anything. This offense is abysmal today. I mean, other than the long run that we had from J.J. Nelson, the 56-yard touchdown to start the football game, they've done nothing. They've turned the ball over. They haven't really got a drive to go past the 50, and they continue to get hits on Carson Palmer and set themselves back. Now they're in a backed up situation, and Miami's getting ready to pin their ears back and try to get after this quarterback again.
Dolphin fans haven't had a December game like this in quite some time. Trying to go to 8-5.
When the pass was thrown. Previous spot. Thank you.
Second and 19 from inside the 4 of Arizona. Carson Palmer almost intercepted. Oh, Andre Branch had that and could have strolled into the end zone. They were trying to set up a screen.
I think everybody in the stadium knew a screen was coming here. Delayed release by David Johnson. Watch 50 splash into your screen right here. Man, that's a missed opportunity. That could have been a pick into the end zone, and in this game would have been clearly out of reach, but missed opportunity. Still setting up a 3rd and forever for Arizona, and they got to be careful with the football here.
David Johnson carries. They only rushed a few. He gets to the 10 and is knocked down where it's 4th down.
Nothing else you can do there if you're Bruce Arians. You can't try to convert 3rd and 19 now. Your quarterback's been under duress all day long. You don't want to put him in a situation where he's going to get sacked and fumble in the end zone. You do the prudent thing and run it and hope that your defense can answer the call here, because Miami's getting hot on offense in this second half. And
well, it's still a 2-score game if it doesn't get any worse for Arizona, and Miami'd like to widen that gap a little bit. They'll have good field position. Butler lines this to Landry inside the 40 of Miami. Straight ahead. Ball's out, and the Cardinals are on it. He ran into a wall and fumbled, and Arizona has the football.
Well, he ran into his own guy.
That's Kenyon Drake, who's leaning over in pain. Looked like Okafor came up with a recovery. That's Alex Okafor with a loose football.
Well, the Dolphins showed a pressure and brought all their guys in, so he had a ton of room here to run. Kenyon Drake just unaware of his returner and causes the fumble. Arizona's right there on the spot, and now they're set up in favorable field position on offense. It's just the break that they needed, Chris, because they weren't showing us anything on the offensive side of the ball.
Butler with a big kick. A guy who's been under fire. Glad that his special teams unit did something positive here, and hope that Kenyon Drake is okay. Landry's the one who lost the football. Cardinals have the football, trailing 21-9. 7th turnover of this game combined, 3rd for the Dolphins on the Landry fumble. We hope that the rookie Drake is okay.
And you could see that Jarvis Landry wasn't even looking. He wasn't even paying attention to Kenyon Drake as he ran down the field there. He's looking at 89 for the Cardinals, and he's a sure-handed guy, Jarvis Landry is, but puts the ball on the ground, and they are set up at the 48-yard line here with their best opportunity to score in the second half. And they absolutely have to do something with this gift of field position right now, Chris.
Maxwell is on Fitzgerald, bottom of your screen. 1 catch for Fitzgerald today. David Johnson to the 45-yard line. Extra pushing and shoving there. Gresham and Ball.
You know, one of the reasons, well, we got a flag here, some sort of unsportsmanlike, I'm sure, after the play.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, offense, number 84, 15-yard penalty, the down count. This is the first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against number 84 with regards to disqualification from the game.
There's 84. You see him pushing on Butler here.
Looks like he was having a little fun even after the shoving. Donald Butler was happy with the result, but the Cardinals self-destructing here. I mean, that was a loss of 15 after they had picked up 2. 2nd and 23 at their own 40 now. Four-man rush. Palmer dumps it off behind Johnson. There's a flag down when Palmer got rid of the football.
This is holding on one of the 2 tackles. I'm not sure which. They both were getting pushed back into the pocket.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
That's on Ulrich John, who, as you pointed out, was once a Dolphin.
He just has to take a bull rush of Cameron Wake. Ulrich John right here. Watch Cameron Wake, 91. Right to his chest and push him like a sled back into the quarterback. And call that holding if you want. But I don't know that I've seen more 2nd and 33s and 40s from any team in football than Arizona. It's just, this has happened to them time after time all year long, and puts themselves so far behind the sticks. It's very difficult.
Incomplete for Fitzgerald, and he wasn't open. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Lions have won 7 of 8, but this Bears defense has really played well of late. Case in point, Trayvon LeBlanc picking off Matthew Stafford and taking it all the way back for the touchdown and giving the Bears a 17-13 lead in the fourth quarter at Detroit. Chris, Rondé, and Holly.
Thanks, Kurt. The Lions have made a living off fourth quarter comebacks behind Matthew Stafford. That's what they'll need to do today to protect their lead in the North. Seattle and Green Bay later on Fox, affecting the playoff picture. Remember, a Cardinal loss and a Seattle win later, and the Seahawks win the NFC West. Underneath, and Gresham drops it. On 3rd and 33. Now it's 4th down. Cardinals moving backward. They had the ball at the 47 of Miami, but penalties and mistakes, they were all the way back inside their 30, where their punter will come out now. So they couldn't take advantage of the fumble recovery from Landry.
Well, this doesn't look like a team that's desperate to make the playoffs to me right now. Just this many mistakes and negative plays, just it's unbelievable. And the Cardinals were
this is the
today.
bad punt that they've been dealing with quite a bit. Butler's a guy who got booed at home last week, even though the Cardinals ended up winning an important game against Washington. That punt just 31 yards. Well, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide recognizes players who have made a significant impact on the field and in their communities, and the winner will be announced at the NFL Honors Award Show. That's February 4th here on Fox. This year's nominee from the Cardinals, it's Larry Fitzgerald, and from the Dolphins, Mike Pouncey. You can visit NFL.com/Man of the Year to learn more. 1:46 to go in the third quarter. Dolphins now from their own 44 after the poor punt. Tannehill has it. Open, Devontae Parker. And Tannehill is in pain and signaling for some help.
He got hit right on his right knee late at the end of this play, and I think it's Calais Campbell who's penetrating here. You see 93 on your screen right there, and watch him hit Tannehill below the knee there, and that does not look good for Ryan Tannehill, immediately grasping at it. And don't blame Calais Campbell there. I mean, he was falling to the ground as he was coming off that block, and that was not an intentional dive at his knees. I know Calais, he's not that kind of player anyways. But this does not bode well for the Miami Dolphins. Matt Moore's had some experience starting in the NFL, was a starter here in Miami, and they're going to need to rely on him if Ryan Tannehill is indeed severely injured here.
And he's been an Iron Man for this team. I mentioned this was his 77th start, all the possible starts since his rookie season in 2012. And on the other end of the play, that was the reception. This is the hit. As he's up and the fans applauding, but Tannehill is now standing and walking over to the sideline. That's what the cheer was about. So I think you know where they stand. The 3 touchdown passes equaling his season high in this game. His career high is 4, but Clyde Christensen, the offensive coordinator with Gates there, will help him over on the sideline. And Matt Moore, the 32-year-old backup from Oregon State in his 10th season, 6th with the Dolphins, will come in. I mentioned Tannehill's season high equaling 3 touchdowns, the early strike to Kenny Stills. He moved it around to his tight end, and then Deion Sims, and then running back Damian Williams. A 21-9 advantage. First down at the 45 of Arizona as Tannehill will be checked.
180!
Jay Ajayi gets something out of nothing. 5 yards, but it looked like he'd be tackled for no gain.
And he always is doing this, isn't it? First guy there is never going to get him on the ground. He's just too elusive Whether he's running angry or running elusive, he finds a way to make that first guy miss, picks up nice yardage on first down when there really wasn't anything there.
They continue to work on Tannehill. Tony Jefferson slow to get up for the Cardinals. And it looked like because he was in the injured player, he's going to have to come out for at least a play. So Britton Golden is going to come in for him. They're thin in the secondary as Tannehill is trying to walk off the banner, head to the locker room.
The Britton Golden, last couple of games ago, we had Arizona. We were at practice and saw number 10 in the secondary, and they just don't have any bodies back there. So he's a guy that's versatile enough to go back there and play in the middle of the football field for him.
180!
Ajayi to the 38-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and short as the clock runs, and the Dolphins will be happy to see that clock run as Tannehill heads to the locker room. Dolphins come out of the second half with a touchdown and add to their lead. We've completed 3 quarters and the Dolphins are in control. Rodney Barber, Chris Myers, and just in case there's another injury at quarterback, you got Don Strock, one of the great Dolphin backups in history, and then of course Bob Greasy, the Hall of Famer who finished up that perfect season for Don Shula and that Dolphins team in the 70s. Joe Rose alongside Jimmy Cephalo as they called the radio broadcast for Miami. Of course, Earl Morrall, a great backup, has a street named after him.
You got 44. 180!
On 3rd and 4, Ajayi fights hard but short of the first down as Matt Moore is in for the injured Ryan Tannehill, and we'll keep a close check on that. Holly Saunders down on the sideline as Tannehill went to the locker room. So on 4th, they're going to go for it here, try and keep the clock running and keep possession of the football.
You're in that area on the field where it doesn't make sense to punt the football, and their kicker, Franks, does not have a strong leg, and I think this is a good decision by Adam Gase. Show the moxie of your team, show the intention of your team to win this football game, see if you can get this first down.
This may be the defensive stand for Arizona for the season. Of course, this could change things.
Offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And that's on the Dolphins backup center, Anthony Steen, who had problems on the road with the count last week, and you see the look from his head coach. Remember, he's in there because of the Mike Pouncey injury. So now they'll bring their punter in. The Dolphins will try and pin the Cardinals and Patrick Peterson deep in their own territory. Still a 2-score game after all of the Cardinal miscues and the inefficiency of the passing game. Under 50 yards passing for Carson Palmer in this game.
That's unbelievable.
With the kind of receiver talent that the Cardinals have, it is shocking. Fair catch called for, so let it bounce. And the Dolphins are on top of it. They did not fall for it. An alert play by Walt Aikens.
I got to tell you what, this is one of the best special teams plays you'll see. This ball takes a weird bounce and goes behind him, but look at the athleticism and the one-handed stop on the 1-yard line.
Remember, if any part of his body touches the line or the end zone, then it's a touchback. So that was terrific body control after the fair catch sign, and Peterson let it go.
Yeah, if any part of his body touches and he doesn't reestablish himself back in the field of play, it would have been a touchback, but great job by Walt Aikens on that special teams play.
The second half, the Cardinals have been backed up in their own end zone much of the second half. In the 3rd quarter, now the 4th. Palmer to throw from his own end zone. And catch made by Michael Floyd, who gets out to the 15. That'll move the chains.
Only the second catch by Michael Floyd, and really Byron Maxwell has given him a lot of respect there. I don't know why he would, because there's no way that Carson Palmer's got time to throw a deep ball there. I would have challenged Michael Floyd right there and not given that completion up, but gets them out of the shadow of their goal line. See if they can get a drive going here, Chris. This has been the worst performance of the Arizona offense that I've seen in a very, very long time.
David Johnson, top of your screen as a receiver. Palmer steps up, and he's going to have to run and slide.
I mean, look how quickly Carson Palmer has to react in the pocket here. I mean, between Ndamukong Suh in the middle and Cameron Wake on the right side or left side of your screen, watch how quickly these two guys affect the quarterback. Watford has no chance. Ulrich John's getting blown by, and Carson Palmer's not a runner, has to step up and get something positive out of it.
Well, would you make some adjustments, bring in an extra tight end or something to help?
You know what, it's not, I doubt they have it in their playbook. Bruce Arians is a guy that sticks to his game plan. If he gets pressure, he relies on hot reads, and he's going to do what he does.
Pass caught by Fitzgerald, a good block. His second catch of the game as he's thrown down at the 30. But good enough for a first down after Nelson threw the block.
Yeah, great block by J.J. Nelson. It's borderline, maybe down the field too far, because if he hits this defender before Larry Johnson catches, it's a penalty. But the timing is good. Larry Fitzgerald picks up the first down, but he can give a lot of credit there to J.J. Nelson.
Larry Fitzgerald now has reached 90 catches for the 7th time in his 13-year career. Came in tied for the league lead in receptions in the NFL. On first down, Palmer back foot completes. That's Gresham falling to the 39, short of the first down. David Johnson, meanwhile, came in with 12 straight games to start the year here with over 100 scrimmage yards or more combined here. He's got 92 today.
I think he'll get that. I mean, he's still going to be a focus of this offense here in the fourth quarter. I mean, they got to find a way to get him on favorable matchups. Now, all day, what I've been seeing, when he comes out of the backfield, I haven't seen 45, Mike Hall or Pacing, or 42 or 46, the other linebacker, play.
Direct snap, Kerwin Williams on the Wildcat. We saw this earlier go for 20. He does get the first down. And another cell of rain, another layer sweeping through here. Under 11 minutes to play. Dolphins have had the lead from the opening quarter. A quarter filled with turnovers. 7 turnovers total in this game. It didn't rain at the start, but it's been raining off and on since. Palmer open. Gresham. Tackle by Maxwell, but he needed some help, and the helmet off from Jermaine Gresham.
Having a good game, Jermaine Gresham is, and getting some tough yardage. And
looks like Neville Hewitt has come in for Spencer Paysinger on the Dolphin defense. And we have an injured player at midfield. And it is Bobby McCain.
Today's game is sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data.
Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill, this is from earlier, remains in the locker room. They are checking his left knee. He acknowledges the crowd late in the third quarter as Matt Moore came in for him after Tannehill throwing 3 touchdown passes. Meanwhile, Jermaine Gresham with his third catch from the 46 of Arizona. The blitz coming. Fitzgerald hit hard as he caught it by Neville Hewitt, but short of the first down.
Well, as much as this game has been about those 3 touchdowns by Ryan Tannehill, give this defense some credit. I mean, they were completely destroyed last week against Baltimore. And this is a talented Arizona offense, and they are holding these guys to under 225 yards through 3 quarters into the 4th. So with some guys injured, got to give them a pat on the back. Defensive coordinator Vance Joseph as well.
David Johnson on 3rd down and 2. Gets the pitch. There's a flag down right away. Johnson has the first down. A turnover and penalty plagued game. Throw the weather in too. And injuries as well.
Offside. Defense, number 55. Line up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, resulting in a first down.
Even though he had the first down, the penalty would stop the clock. And every minute precious here for Bruce Arians. They have really not sustained a drive. The Nelson run was 56 yards. They made a 56-yard field goal after Catanzaro missed from 41. Trailing by 12. From the 46 of Miami, pressure coming on Palmer, and he's going to get sacked. There's Cameron Wake again. And Earl Mitchell was in to help. The flag down in the secondary.
While the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact. Defense, number 45. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's about the only thing that's going to stop this defense right now. Cameron Wake is off this corner so fast on Ulrich John and hitting Carson Palmer in the backfield, but they are bailed out by a penalty on the back end by Hull. But I got to tell you, this offense, Bruce Arians has got to make an adjustment. Got to keep a tight end in. Got to get a back to block the edge or something. Every single time we see a drop back, it's a hit on the quarterback.
From the 41-yard line, David Johnson knocked down at the 39. Well, Ryan Tannehill is out injured. Carson Palmer has not reached the 100-yard passing level. Intercepted early by Mike Hull. Bakari Rambo with a pick. A lost fumble. And under pressure all day.
The fumble is inexcusable. The interceptions are inexcusable. What is excusable for him are the number of hits that he has taken. And you got to wonder how he's still standing in this game, but he needs to manufacture a drive right now.
He's got time. And a flag down. Larry Fitzgerald trying to get to the football. Byron Maxwell was back there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 41. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
You know, I sometimes lament the fact of pass interference in the secondary, but this could be a double or triple hold. Gets the double move, the out and up, and Byron Maxwell really probably a smart penalty, because if Larry catches that, it's going to be a touchdown. He'll take the spot foul on the hold and let his defense defend some more grass here.
16-yard pickup on that penalty. Ball spotted at the 23 of Miami. It's a two-score game. You got to figure the Cardinals, if they even had to settle for three, it still leaves them a chance with an 8-point difference, touchdown and 2-point conversion. But they're hoping to get into the end zone. Palmer open, knocked out inside the 10 is Jermaine Gresham with his fourth catch. He's had, coming into the game, Ronnie, in the last 5 games, he had 19 catches. He's become more and more part of their offense.
Well, he's had to today. I mean, with the middle of the field open, he's working against a linebacker usually, and Mike Hull, who hasn't played a lot of snaps. That's where I'd be going with the football. And Jermaine Gresham clearly has a height advantage over Mike Hull, who's a shorter, smaller, kind of slower guy.
Gresham is 6'5", Hull is 6 feet. After a pickup of 14, first and goal, ball's tipped. Trying to get it to the end zone. Looked like David Johnson was open at the 5-yard line.
He was open. And Chris, you noticed, if you notice what I noticed, he's on Hull. He's on Mike Hull. But the push through the middle of this defense, number 97, Jordan Phillips. But watch 31 go to the flat here. Mike Hull, 45, having to run through Darren Fells. That would have been maybe been a touchdown for Arizona if he would have made that read.
Second and goal. Palmer throws behind, and it's incomplete. That was Darren Fells, the other tight end, and it's third and goal. Even when Palmer has connected, his throws have not been pinpoint.
Not been his best day. Just over 100 yards. And he is, I mean, you figure that Miami's had about 13 penalties on the day. Should have been some more favorable for Arizona, but it hasn't worked out that way today.
on 3rd and goal. Palmer for the end zone. Catch made, and yes, touchdown, Britton Golden.
It's a great throw by Carson Palmer. Had not been his best day. Can't say it enough. But Britt Gold comes into the game, and Carson Palmer's going to take another shot from Cameron Wake on the left side of your screen here. But good route, good strong arm throw. Watch the in and then the out. Bobby McCain, who was hurt a little bit, is back in. Good throw, good connection, and they're back into this football game.
Golden's first touchdown catch of the year and his career. Ron, remember, he came in to play defensive back a few series ago.
That's right.
And now a clutch catch, and they're going for the extra point, passing up a 2-point try. And they're not going to get this one either. Remember, that can be returned for 2. And the Dolphins, Walt Aikens is going to take that conversion and get some points for Miami.
Well, that about says it all, doesn't it? Another bad snap for Arizona. The holder just doesn't get it down quick enough.
Well, it's one thing to miss the extra point. It's another thing to allow them to return it on you. So Aaron Brewer snapping, Drew Butler holding, Walt Aikens running it back. Well, give the Dolphins credit for the block and then the return by Aikens. Catanzaro continues to have a miserable day, and it was Jordan Phillips who got his hand up, number 97, to bat down the extra point.
Not sure if the snap hold made a difference, but every type of malady that can happen on special teams for Arizona has happened today. And Bruce Arians, I mean, he's frustrated with everything about this football team and this football game today.
Kenyon Drake, who was hurt earlier, on the return now. Here comes a flag, and here comes another one as he's knocked down at the 22-yard line. Well, you know, forget what the points were. If your special teams are that awful, maybe you go for 2.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 31. 10-yard penalty, Miami keeps the ball. First down, timeout.
Tough break for Michael Thomas, who leads the team with 15 special team tackles, but he's got a penalty that'll back up the Dolphins.
Today's game is sponsored by K Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K.
Watch live local Sunday games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile in any kind of weather. And if you're a Cardinal fan and you just saw that extra point and run back, you're wondering what the heck is going on with this team that played in the NFC Championship game last year, fighting for playoff survival, trailing by 8 after scoring a touchdown and botching the extra point. Miami has Matt Moore trying to protect the lead as Ajayi runs hard to get across the 12, 13-yard line. Late in the third quarter, Ryan Tannehill went out with a knee injury after throwing 3 touchdown passes.
And Matt Moore's coming to the game. Hasn't had to throw the football yet, but you know, he was a starter through in 2011 when he first got here. Played those 12 games and played pretty well. But I think this game going forward here is going to be all about Jay Ajayi. How many touches is he going to have here in the last 6 minutes of this football game?
Tell you how a game can be turned upside down. The Cardinals marched 99 yards to get a touchdown, and then the extra point run the other way by Aikens got Miami to protect that 8-point lead. Check in for a game break with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Chris. A huge play here. Washington down 1, under 2 left in the game. Chris Thompson, a 25-yard run, puts his team up 27-22. Chris, Rhonda, and Holly.
All right, thank you. The Redskins, one of those teams in the playoff mix in the NFC that the Cardinals need to fall by the wayside over the remaining regular season. The Dolphins trying to get their 8th win of the year, facing a 3rd and 9. Damian Williams, the running back. Matt Moore in his own end zone, and incomplete. And if the Cardinals offense can get something done, it would put pressure on the Miami offense with their backup quarterback in there.
That's exactly right, Chris. And this offense of Arizona will get back onto the football field here, and they're going to have to go score and go for 2 down by these 8 points. But I got to tell you, this defense of Miami today, other than that last drive, I think they have stepped up big time today. They put so much pressure on the quarterback. David Johnson is yet to top the 100-yard mark in total yardage, so give them some credit. They're going to have a big stop to do coming up now.
The punt drops, and at midfield, the Dolphins down it. Matt Darr with the kick. And good news for Dolphin fans to see Ryan Tannehill back on the sideline. But Carson Palmer will lead the Cardinal offense straight ahead. And Ryan Tannehill coming back out of the locker room moments ago after being injured late in the third quarter, checking his knee, and looked the emotion in his eyes, some pain.
Sometimes the looks and the reactions by teammates tell the story, and I'm not going to guess what's wrong with Ryan Tannehill, but clearly shaking his teammates and his coaches, consoling him. And Brendan Albert came over right when he came to the sideline and hugged him up. And that's Mike Pouncey there.
So can they hold on with Matt Moore? Right now the Dolphin defense, which has done so well against Carson Palmer and David Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald, protecting an 8-point lead with 5:14 to go. Johnson the football, and brought down just short of the 45-yard line of the Dolphins. 74 yards rushing for David Johnson today. A couple of yards away from 100 total scrimmage yards, but more worried about getting into the end zone. See, Matt Moore is the guy who will run the Dolphin offense the rest of the way. Blitz coming, pass is tipped, but caught by Jermaine Gresham, who slips a tackle and gets a first down.
What a great effort play by Jermaine Gresham. First of all, he has to make a great catch after the tip pass here. And then this is what we've seen from him all day. He's been such a big factor in the pass game, but it's the yards after contact that have been crucial for this offense today. Another example of it there.
He's the game's leading receiver with 5 catches in his second year with the Cardinals. Remember, he was a Pro Bowler with Cincinnati. Went to a couple Pro Bowls in his 5 years with the Bengals. Palmer throws. David Johnson with the catch and gets a first down inside the 25 of Miami. And that'll bring his string of 13 straight games to open the season with 100 scrimmage yards or more. And that's with the franchise record, the new mark. And tying Edgerrin James with the NFL mark. Here comes the Wildcat. Kerwin Williams. And there he goes. The third time they've run it today. They picked up 20, a first down, and a gainer there for another first down.
He's been an X factor, right? This is his 3rd carry of the game. I haven't seen him run it this many times, but you're going to get the runner going there. He's just going to hold it. Everybody's got to believe that they're going to give the ball to David Johnson here, but Kerwin Williams, again, tucks it, runs through the defense, and gets some positive yardage here.
Got an injured player. Member of the Dolphins, it looks like Bakari Rambo, who had an interception earlier in the game for Miami.
I was giving a lot of credit to this Dolphins defense, but all of a sudden here, these last 2 drives, the 99-yard drive by Arizona, and now they get the ball at midfield, and you almost feel like they're holding on. And they got some room to work with this 8-point lead, but they need to stop.
Dolphins officially not releasing any further information on Ryan Tannehill, so we will just await until they have a further chance to look on their starting quarterback as he looks on. But encouraging for the Dolphins in the playoff discussion, because the Broncos lost in Tennessee. Titans won that game. That helps Miami if they can do their part. And fans cheering as they show on the screen here. Tennessee defeating the Broncos, one of those wild card teams in the AFC at the moment. But they got to hold off the Cardinals. It's 1st and 10 Arizona. David Johnson the pitch with blocks and goes out of bounds. Cardinals have never led in this game. They've committed 4 turnovers, and the rain has come and gone. It's eased up a little bit now. It's more holding on to the football than footing that has been a story in this game.
Well, those turnovers early were definitely because of the wet football, the fumbles, the interceptions. You're in a position here, Arizona. 4-down territory, I would believe. And you got David Johnson in the backfield, 2 tight ends. Let's see if they give him the ball here.
Palmer, end zone throw. Fitzgerald hit hard between 2 Dolphins. And incomplete. It was Isa Abdul-Quddus and Maxwell.
Good job by Byron Maxwell here on this play here. Almost thought this was going to get into Larry Fitzgerald's chest, but he did a good job getting over the top of the shoulder, getting his hands on the ball, and almost intercepted it.
He got back in time, no flag. Palmer's throw. Did he hold on? It's a Cardinal touchdown. J.J. Nelson, his 2nd of the game.
Well, this is fortunate for Arizona because Cameron Wake was unimpeded to the quarterback. I'm surprised they didn't call that play dead.
I don't think there was any contact made, but let's look at the catch.
That's a catch. Good strong arm throw. J.J. Nelson secures the catch and got it.
Cardinals are 0 for 3 in 2-point conversions this year. As Vance Joseph shaking his head, but can still protect the lead as they go for 2. See how big that botched extra point that was returned is.
Oh. Here's David Johnson. Here's Larry Fitzgerald. One of those 2 guys.
David Johnson in the clutch, and we are tied at the 3-minute mark.
Well, a game that was more than ugly to start has gotten real exciting here down the stretch, and you had to know that David Johnson was going to be the target here. Whenever he's in motion, he is the primary receiver for Carson Palmer, and his defense is nowhere near making that play. And finally some excitement and encouragement from Bruce Arians and his offense.
And Ryan Tannehill up off the bench to watch. So they've kept David Johnson out of the end zone, but Vance Joseph couldn't prevent his defense, couldn't prevent the 2-point conversion. With Rondé Barber and Holly Saunders, Chris Myers. Hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. It's rained off and on all day here in South Florida. The Dolphins, with Ryan Tannehill injured late in the 3rd quarter after throwing 3 touchdowns. Moments ago, David Johnson on a 2-point conversion. The Cardinals, after a disastrous first half, have rallied back to tie. Carson Palmer suffering a couple of interceptions and losing a fumble, but has battled back. Just over 3 minutes to play. And special teams have hurt the Cardinals as the rain continues to fall. Miami had a botched extra point run back for 2. This will be a touchback. J.J. Nelson, 2 touches today, 2 touchdowns. This was the one moments ago on the pass from Palmer. He had a 56-yard run earlier.
And then Carson Palmer finds David Johnson for the 2-point conversion. Got that block kick, but they got it back with a nice throw and a nice drive from the 50 for this Arizona offense that now all of a sudden has over 300 yards of production, whereas in the first half, I don't know that they were over 100.
7 turnovers combined in this game. Injured Tannehill means Matt Moore will have to lead the Dolphins from their own 25. Rain coming down again, the pass incomplete. intended for Devontae Parker. Kicking has been a major story. Special teams issues. A high snap and a missed extra point for Bruce Arians' kicker Chandler Catanzaro. He hit the upright from 41, wasn't good, but then made a 56-yarder. But then this extra point block returned by Walt Aikens all the way for 2 for Miami. Will it come down to a field goal? Ajayi brought down right away. Both teams fighting for a playoff spot just on the fringe. They know they need to win and get some help.
And C.O. Moore makes that tackle. He's in the game because Dayon Buchanan went to the locker room with an ankle injury and hasn't played much. Right here, he's from Oakland a couple of years ago. Picked up off of Indianapolis, his team this year, and that's a great read and a great play. This Miami offense went from trying to protect the lead now to trying to win a football game with your backup quarterback. They need to get a first down here on 3rd and long.
Matt Moore, Jarvis Landry, the catch made but short of the first down. And Patrick Peterson, who played his high school ball at Blanche Ely with the Tigers from Pompano Beach, his first game back. He grew up as a Dolphin fan, making a clutch play to take us to the 2-minute warning. No further information on Ryan Tannehill's knee injury, taken out late in the 3rd quarter. We are tied with 2 minutes to play.
Today's game is sponsored by HP. Keep reinventing.
With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, the Cardinals called a timeout with 4 seconds before the 2-minute warning, so they reset the clock. Jerome Boger, our referee. 2 timeouts remaining for the Cardinals. 8th punt of the game from Matt Dahr as the rain continues to fall. Peterson, no fair catch, and brought down right away at the 25-yard line. And now we will officially mark the 2-minute warning with under 2 minutes to play. It was a crazy start to the game. A first half filled with turnover after turnover. It wasn't raining at the start of the game, was in the forecast, and when it came down in sheets and rather inconsistently, and it had an effect. And it's doing it again.
Well, it's been a sloppy game. It was ugly early in the football game. All the turnovers, the fumbles, the interceptions. But this Cardinals offense is taking a lot of pressure today. Carson Palmer was hit relentlessly in the first half and early part of the second half. But since they got that long touchdown drive to start the 4th quarter, they've looked to be the aggressor. And this Miami defense that needs a stop right now has got to step up, play for their playoff lives, I think, Chris.
For either team, the Dolphins scored early and led the entire game until moments ago when the 2-point conversion allowed Arizona to tie the game. And Ndamukong Suh looking in, wondering what to expect from Carson Palmer, who had his worst half as a member of the Cardinals, passing for fewer than 50 yards.
Well, this rain is really coming down again. We haven't seen it dump this much since early in the football game. Look for Arizona to find their surest-handed guys. That's going to be David Johnson. It's going to be Larry Fitzgerald. And today it's been Jermaine Gresham, the tight end, number 84.
Bottom of your screen is the running back / receiver, David Johnson. Palmer loses the football and falls on it. He has the most fumbles of any player this year in the league.
Well, he was looking to get a quick release out to Larry Fitzgerald. Just watch, the ball falls out of his hands. Not a way to protect it from being wet once they put it on the ground. You see all these towels with the ball boy, and the official has a towel over the ball before they put it down to snap. But it is raining so hard right now that as soon as it hits the ground, it is just soaked.
Dolphins use a timeout. Each team will have 2. And if you're the Cardinals, obviously here in a tie game, you got to be careful because you don't want to allow the field position to favor Miami to get a late field goal and win this. But with the scoring went, Tannehill to Kenny Stills for the early touchdown. J.J. Nelson, a 56-yard run. That got the scoring going in the first half. Miami led at the half. As Palmer to David Johnson, and he'll go out of bounds. but it'll bring up 3rd and long.
Well, I think all they were trying to do was get half of that yardage back after that fumble by Carson Palmer, who took another hit right there. But 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. You got to wonder if they're going to try to go for this or try to play for overtime here. And Jason Jones jumps into Carson Palmer's neck there. Big 3rd down here.
Palmer's pass is incomplete in the area of Fitzgerald. Palmer was looking for his 33rd career game-winning drive. He's already had a couple this season. But Ulrich John, the tackle, is the injured player. It's worth repeating, Rhonda, because the weather, the injuries, the penalties, the turnovers.
Arizona.
Cardinals are going to use a timeout. They're not going to use a timeout. They have 2 remaining. So just to recap the other scoring, that was Deion Sims, the second of Tannehill's 3 touchdown passes. This one going to Damian Williams. He was injured at the end of the 3rd quarter. Carson Palmer to Britton Golden, and then the J.J. Nelson and 2-point conversion to Johnson, and that's how we wound up tied, again with all the special teams and kicking adventures.
The injury to Ulrich John necessitated the call timeout for Arizona, so they lose one here. Just over a minute and a half remaining in this football game. And
Butler's kick. Landry straight ahead, all the way down to the Arizona 47-yard line. And with just under a minute and a half, Miami in excellent position with 2 timeouts. America's Game of the Week, remember, for Seattle at Lambeau. If Arizona should lose and the Seahawks win, Seattle captures the NFC West. Cardinals were the division champs last year, played in the NFC Championship game, but are trying to get to 500.
What kind of pressure is Matt Moore feeling right now? Hasn't played all year. They're playing for their playoff lives, and all he needs to do is get them in field goal position and get a W, and helped by the loss by Denver. It's a big drive.
Matt Moore hadn't played since 2015. He was in for the final 7 plays. Andrew Franks, the kicker, has had problems over 50 yards. Damian Williams, the carry. And trying to get outside. It's all the way down to the 42. The ball comes out, but he's ruled down right away.
He made a lot out of nothing right here. Damian Williams did. 2 or 3 guys had a chance to take him, and Justin Bethel. You'll see Justin Bethel, number 28, coming to your screen. Should have been a tackle for a loss right there. But Damian Williams, just with some lateral quickness, gets outside, picks up some big yardage.
Picked up 5. Williams remains the back. Comes a whistle.
Prior to the snap, the previous play is under review.
Anything under 2 minutes, automatically it's a booth review. Because the ball came out at the end, but remember they ruled it down. So the official replay crew will take a look.
The only thing they could be reviewing, right? Well, Mike Pereira will clean this up for us.
Our Fox Rules analyst is standing by. Mike Pereira.
Yeah, it's obviously inside of 2 minutes here, so it's a review that comes from the replay booth. They're checking to see if it was a fumble. The second aspect you do have, Arizona picking up the ball in the continuing action, but as we look at it, we actually think the forearm, based on what we've seen, and we think that that was on the ground, so he is down by contact as we look at the shots with you.
Right there.
Yeah.
So that would put him, yeah, that will put him down by contact at that situation right there.
Well, that's how it was ruled on the field, even though we saw the ball come out. As you said, Mike, we clearly saw a Cardinal recovery before it went out of bounds. But
after reviewing the play, the rule on the field is confirmed. The runner was down prior to the ball coming loose.
Thank you, Mike Ferrera. Yes, that call is confirmed. They got it right on the initial call and on the field. Matt Moore has 4 career game-winning drives. The last one came in 2011. Of course, he played for Carolina. He has had some starts for the Dolphins over the years, but in relief of the injured Ryan Tannehill.
Well, watch your individual matchups in this situation. James Beckton, the D coordinator at Arizona, loves to blitz. Guarantee it's coming here.
Matt Moore completes in field goal range. Kenny Stills at the 32.
And Kenny Stills has been getting the better of Justin Bethel since he came into the football game. Marcus Cooper went out with an injury earlier in this half. And number 28, Justin Bethel's been one-on-one with Kenny Stills, and Kenny Stills is having his way with him here.
Dolphins have used a timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. Right now, you're looking at a 48-yard field goal. Andrew Franks, it's his 2nd year. He's from RPI, undrafted out of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. First player from RPI to ever play in the NFL.
Well, if I'm Adam Gase, I'm not playing for a field goal quite yet. I mean, Andrew Franks is a good kicker. He's got a really smooth delivery, but his leg isn't that strong. It's raining. This ball has been doing crazy things today. I think they need a little bit more yardage here.
41 yards is his long.
Lions! Hey, 54,
Matt Moore gets rid of it. Open is Stills. He's got it. There's a flag down, and he's down. Inside the 2.
Well, there's that matchup. Kenny Stills, Justin Bethel. They called all-out blitz. There was not anybody in the middle of the field. Matt Moore does a great job buying a little bit of time. That's the penalty. But the catch is more important down to the 2-yard line. And I question Matt Moore, having not played, what was his gumption like? Well, it showed right there in the face of a blitz. Delivers a perfect ball to get them in scoring position.
The value of an experienced backup quarterback. He knew where to go with it. And Adam Gase, the 38-year-old head coach, youngest in the league, the play caller, had the right response. Cardinals blitz more than any team in the league. Miami was ready for it. 37 seconds left. Damian Williams knocked down. Clock runs. James Betcher, defensive coordinator for Arizona, can only look on.
He needed his guy to make a play there. He challenges his guys in one-on-one coverage all game long, and he had a backup going. And he had a backup in there, and they took advantage of him.
He trips on the handoff. Damian Williams, the clock is running. Miami better use its timeout. And Adam Gase almost saw that slip through. 1 more second according to the clock, and we would have been in overtime.
Well, Damian Williams trying to do a lot extra after this almost botched handoff. Matt Moore coming out, and he's got to be more aware. I mean, it's not a situation you practice a lot, but he had to know that time was running out on him.
So this is less than an extra point. And we've had one of those blocked. It was by Miami against Arizona and run back for 2. Andrew Franks, has not missed an extra point this year. But this a field goal to win it. John Denny, the long snapper. Matt Darr, the holder. He's your punter. And will Arizona use a timeout to try and ice him? And that is not snow falling, it looks like, but it's rain.
It's a lot of rain.
It's been that kind of game.
Well, this isn't a guarantee. I know it's only 21 yards, but we've noted numerous times how wet this ball has been all day. Snap, hold, execution hasn't been great on either side.
Worth pointing out, Rodney, that with Franks, Of his 4 field goal misses, 2 came on blocks of under 30-yard field goal attempts.
He's not a very high ball kicker. I was down there before the game watching him and Catanzaro kick, and it's a different trajectory off of his foot. So you have 2 huge guys inside. Calais Campbell in there. Expect him. Look for that big paw of 93 for Arizona, or off the edge, Justin Bethel, special teams ace, trying to get a block here.
And Franks for the win. And the Dolphin playoff hopes are alive and well. The Dolphins win it at the buzzer. Coming up next, America's Game of the Week. Some will see the Seahawks and Packers, others the Saints and Bucks.